Planning options. Learn how you can plan your estate using a will or trust to protect your family and secure your legacy. That's Life, Death, and the Law every Monday, 8 to 9 a.m. on 560 KBLU.
There's a man in D.C. He stands 6'3". He's fighting for you.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you. It's Tuesday morning, 6:05. I had to check. Beautiful day. I had a great night last night. I took a bike ride out on the canal banks and stuff, West Main Canal, or no, the main canal. And then it's just gorgeous outside right now. The evenings, and it was just right temperature, no winds. Yeah, I'm going to get used to it. Then it'll get cold. Speaking of cold, we're in that season. We're not getting hit like the North. I don't know if you've watched the Northeast, man. They're like record colds. Did I see something in the newspapers that a record warmth in Arizona? That is possibly true because there was record colds up north. I think that kind of balances sometimes. Probably true with it. 58 degrees right now in Clare. Just really, or 56. It just changed on me. 56, really nice. High today of 80. We're going to get all the way up to 80. Feels, it's good days to be outside. Good days. And it's getting close to Christmas, but don't worry, you still got time. I mean, to shop and all. It's only the 9th. You got till the 25th, you got like 16 days. My daughter's birthday yesterday. So she's my baby girl. She's like the young one, the baby in the house. Well, 35. Yeah, I don't want to out her or anything, but she says her dad's getting old, so she deserves it. That's all right. Well, we'll out her. With the holidays and looking forward to, the Cabrios did the tower lighting and the pageant and all that stuff. You had the Christmas party downtown where they lit the tree downtown, which was fabulous. Thousands of people there. And those are all bright spots. Also, Candy Cane Lane is open now. That's not government or Caballeros or anything. That's just neighborhood. Candy Cane Lane, I've been visiting since I've been here in Yuma. I moved to Yuma in 95. And it's always been a joy to just ride down Candy Cane Lane. I think most people do. It's 28th Street and South Vista Lane across from Smucker's Park, if you're looking for it. And those neighbors on that street, with maybe one or two exceptions, they just go all out. They celebrate Christmas. Commercialized, but it's okay. That's fine. Yeah, commercial it up. The kids love it. I've taken the grandkids there. I've taken the grandkids there on a bicycle. I have a bicycle with one of those carts they pull behind it. I had a couple of other kids in there, and I took them down Candy Cane Lane. And just really great memories. All the lights, everything going on. And, of course, Christmas Eve and things. Most of those neighbors are out on stay outside with a fire or something, and it looks like they're giving away hot chocolate somewhere. Free hot chocolate and candy canes will be available, it says. I don't know if it's what day. Well, maybe they're talking because Santa's visiting on the 19th and 20th from 6 to 8. I guess that's when the free hot chocolate and candy canes will be available, December 19th and 20th. There on Candy Cane Lane. Again, that's sponsored by Neighborhood. That's really nice. I guess if you buy a house, I don't know, I don't think it's a HOA or anything. I guess you just understand that you're buying on Candy Cane Lane and join the party or put a Grinch out front or something. I read an article on cross-border cooperation. There's a picture put in the paper of it looks like a Mexican officer of some kind. I don't know if it's a police officer or what, or if they have their own border patrol, but he was holding up a makeshift ladder, that had hooks on the top, to be able to hook onto our fence and climb over. And that ladder looked to be about 12 foot tall. And he was, and the reason for the picture and the reason for the article is there some cooperation between the government of Mexico and our border patrol to collect these ladders before they're used again. And I guess they don't mind sharing that. The authorities over in Mexico shared it with it. But I was looking at a 12-foot ladder. See, I wouldn't be any good on that 30-foot fence. Now, the big fence and the fence that got the nationwide notoriety is the 30-foot fence, and 30-foot for a reason. The 30-foot, I guess during World War II, when they were starting to train people to jump out of airplanes, they didn't do it. They didn't train them in the airplane. They trained them on scaffolding. And they wanted a scaffolding high enough to disrupt the senses, to make you think, no way, this is too high to jump. I mean, you may stand on a table or a chair and say, I could jump off of that. That's no big deal. Where's a psychological breaking point? And they actually did a study on it, I guess. They got psychologists or psychiatrists or somebody involved in this thing and find out how high is so high that people are going to cling to the railing and say, no way, I'm going over this. This is too high. Apparently 30 foot was what they came up with. They came up with 30 foot. And our wall is 30 foot. And I'm told for those reasons that it was high enough that people don't want to go up there and say, I'll jump over. Plus it's high enough to create, very a great amount of bodily damage, I would imagine, particularly for somebody out of shape or something. Broken bones and maybe death. And those kind of things. Those are good incentives not to jump, although I'm sure some try it. And I remember when they were building the wall, and a lot of, particularly Democrats, we'll be partisan here a little bit. The Democrats hate the wall. They want open borders. And I say they in general terms. It's not 100%, but it seems to be the leadership that for sure, the leadership of the Democrat Party, if you're a Democrat, that's the leadership of your party. And I remember the governor, I can't remember which governor, maybe it was Napolitano. It couldn't have been Napolitano. It had to be someone after that, but said, look, if you build a 30-foot wall, someone's going to find a 30-foot ladder. Remember all that. I still haven't seen the 30-foot ladder. Now, I saw the 12-foot ladder because that was for one of the shorter walls, probably one of those 15-foot walls that they had. They had that 12-foot ladder that would hook up there, and you get a boost to get on the bottom of it and get up there. Yeah, 15-foot ladder. Yeah, 15-foot wall. Maybe someone give that a shot. I haven't seen anybody go up with a 30-foot ladder and jump off at all, but that was just all the rhetoric at the time that they thought it would be impossible. It's obviously a real deterrent. That's why those that want open borders are so against the 30-foot wall. They don't want it. It's being built rapidly again. It's getting back into construction, making everyone safer. Particularly our Border Patrol agents and those that are risking it, that are out there, that have to be on the front lines, and God bless them all. Them, the customs officials, they need to not be overlooked that they're protecting the home front. With the ICE agents have been in the spotlight. And one of the more hated groups in the country by the liberals. How dare you come take non-law abiding citizens or non-citizens, non-law abiding non-citizens out of my community. I got used to them as neighbors. It's been insane, and we're gonna be following them for quite a while because that disconnect is not going to go away anytime soon. I don't think, and it's something we'll talk about when we get into political strategies and the things that Donald Trump is paying attention to, and how he's going to handle it. I don't know how he's going to handle the ICE yet because we can't stop. There's a promise made to make everything safer, and you can't do that without taking care of the problems. The creators of the source of the criminal activity would be the criminal. The criminal is the source of the criminal activity. Well, it's good to know these makeshift ladders are being taken out. I don't know how big they were. Oh, one other local news. There's going to be a previewing of a farm film festival in Yuma. Now, there's a farm film festival nationwide every year. They get together and have films on agricultural issues of, maybe it's pest control or water usage. Who knows? There's tons of subjects, obviously, in farming. You can go ask the University of Arizona Cooperative Extension Department. They'll tell you. Well, they have some films that they've made that and of course the film festival, Farm Film Festival, I think it'll be March of next year. I think it's about right. It's going to be in DC, but preview available to Yuma today, or not today, December 11th, Thursday. This Thursday. Today's the 9th. On Thursday at the historic downtown theater from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's going to show how Yuma supplies over 90% of American leafy greens during the winter months, and important statistics, and the Yuma's massive impact on the world's agricultural landscape, and upcoming farm. It's the preview for the upcoming farm festival. So you can call Everbright and get tickets, or not call, but check them on the website, get the tickets. And it's University of Arizona Cooperative Extension that is behind all this. And the tickets are free. I mean, that's a date night with a free ticket to learn more about farming and local farming, and what the farmers in Yuma are doing, which is probably well worth the ticket, well worth the opportunity. 6 to 9, downtown theater. Opportunities out there. Let's a few things. I want to talk about Somali fraud. I didn't get a chance to get to that yesterday. I had other things, other issues. Somali, we've been hearing about, and is it fair? And I'll ask you, is it fair to say Somali fraud? Well, that's being labeled, and of course the mayor has pushed back again, and Tim Walz, the governor, Tampon Tim, he pushed back against that. Somali says, "Look, we're a very prosperous state, we're AAA bonded, and that attracts criminals. So we've got a lot of different types of criminals. So he's touting the diversity amongst criminals. He doesn't want to put it all on the Somalis. Well, good for him. Yeah, we got criminals far beyond the Somali neighborhoods. Well." But I guess that's, he's with the vacation Minnesota market. We need to come and see the diverse criminals. We're talking billions of dollars here in fraud, and a lot of it's centered around a very small community in Minneapolis with Somalia. Somali community is 70, 80,000 people or something, and they're talking billions of dollars. That is not solely to the Somalia, but apparently they seem to adapt to the criminal and activity very rapidly, apparently. Well, the mayor, Jacob Frey, rejects federal help on helping expose those billions, on who it is. And there's a host, Christopher Rufo, who's with Blaze TV. Apparently, he pinned the expose on the rampant Somali fraud in Minnesota. So I guess he's not a favorite in Minnesota right now, because they seem to rally around that Somali neighborhoods, that 70, 80,000 people that have cost that state billions of dollars, and a lot of it federal taxes also, I'm sure, federal money. He said that it's an expose which saw billions of taxpayer dollars go to Somalian and terrorist groups. And that's right. Al-Shabaab, I think, is the one in Somalia that received a lot of money. In fact, it's supposed to be $1.7 billion has been received by in Somalia, and not all just from Minnesota, but I guess from the United States, which is more than their GNP. Yeah. Yeah, that makes it up right there, is what they get from the fraud in the United States. Christopher says that the Somalia fraud story that's been talking about for the last few weeks is, to my great surprise, still dominating the headlines. And oftentimes when you're talking about the news, you go week by week by week. Stories have a trajectory where they hit an orbit, then they are spinning and gaining power for weeks, and in some cases for more than a month. And this is one of those stories. We launched it, and now it's really taken a life of its own. I agree, and I don't think it's not going to be done anytime soon. The more they look, the more they're finding, unfortunately. Well, Fortunately, that maybe they can put a stop to it, but unfortunately, it was so big, and whistleblowers were there, and people were saying things; they were just being ignored. So there is a pathway to figuring out what's going on. Democrats like Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey are not only refusing to realistically address the fraud, they're making sure the story never dies. The mayor said to our Somali community, "We love you and we stand with you. Our police, many of whom are Somalis themselves, are trusted partners in keeping people safe. They will not collaborate with any federal agencies around doing immigration enforcement work." That's his answer to the fraud. We're not going to work with the feds. Our city and staff and our law enforcement will not ask the question as to whether an individual is documented or not. That's not American. That's not what we're about. And we're not going to, we're going to do right by every single person in our city. I've heard commentators, and I don't know the statistics behind it, that probably half of that Somalian population is undocumented. In the country illegal. Probably half. If that's true, that's a big shakeup. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Russ.
Good morning, OG.
Listen, can you imagine getting up every morning to go to work and fighting protesters all freaking day long?
No, I would not live in Portland and some of those cities that do that for vocation.
Well, those 53.5 million foreign residents that we got, the war has started.
Yeah.
And people had better wake up. The war is going on right now, and people are just ignoring it, going to the grocery store, don't want to talk about it, like a damn oyster sticking his head in the sand. But the war has started.
Yeah.
And you got to go. I was doing some research on W.E.B. Du Bois and Nelson Mandela.
Really?
Some of these.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, you got to look it up.
Oh, I know W.E.B. Du Bois. Not a lot of people even understand who he is. Yeah.
But I'm not done.
Yeah.
Morehouse, all these black colleges.
Yeah.
Look at what they study. I've been looking that up over almost all night long. I've been doing it. And it's amazing the communism that's spread in the black community. W.E. Du Bois, you knew he died a registered communist at 93 years old. You knew that, right?
I did not know.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't. He was born in 1868. I did some extensive reading on him. He was acclimated a diehard socialist is what they called him, but he's actually a communist because he ended up joining the Communist Party when he was 93.
Okay.
And yeah, but anyway, you got some Hollywood black actors. They love W.E.B. Du Bois. You got some main ones that just quote him all the time. So we have a huge, and don't forget, 77% of black men bragged about voting for the Marxist Kamala Harris. And Oprah, the billionaire, promoted her.
Okay.
So we have a huge problem in this country.
Oh.
Now, you go back to 1776. How many people were white in the United States at the time? Did you know it was 80% white?
Okay.
In 1920, that had grown to 90%. Now, my point is, whites are 8% of the entire world's population today of 8.2 billion. And that's less than one. That's 800 million people. That's how many whites compared to 7-something billion blacks. And if you look at how the blacks are organized, see, Du Bois founded the NAACP also. I saw that. He was a founder of that. And if you look at the black caucuses, all your Jet magazines, your black entertainment, all this is organized to take down the white race, and the whites had better get in the game here. Because if we got laws on the book that's racism, we need to start knocking these black agencies down as part of the racism plot.
Yeah.
We need to do that. And until we do that, we're screwed. Because we got this death here. See, LBJ a white guy, issued a presidential proclamation, and everybody assumed that it was law, but it wasn't. It was a proclamation of affirmative action. And that took hold in all 50 states and universities.
Mm-hmm.
This is how slick they are. This is how they move. And also, they wrongly side themselves with the Democrats. The Democrats are the Communist Party of the USA. That's who they are. And that's why they belong to it. Because who in the hell would join an agency that like Jim Crow? The founders of Jim Crow, that's the Democrats. The founders of the KKK, that would be the Democrats. So if they hate you already, why would you join them unless the ideology is reign supreme in your heart, and that would be communism. That's why they're Democrats.
Yeah,
the Democrats.
I'm going to agree with you. We're in a lot of trouble. I was reading about that actually this morning about the youth. 60% of those 18 to 39 think socialism's the way to go in the country, in this country.
Exactly. And that's exactly what the monarchies profess, because that's all they got is to offer is socialism.
Right.
And and the Canadians that are here out there and that are listening to your show, they know they're in trouble in Canada because the monarchy, the King Charlie boy, he owns 89% of all real estate in Canada. And the monarchy allows Canadians to live on the remaining 11%, and that's what they don't need.
Yeah.
That's the unchoiced property. If you remember, it was Trudeau who nationalized the American oil companies in Canada back in, I guess it was the 60s or 70s, somewhere along in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so white people, see, I got to throw this in there because this is why Jimmy Carter did what he did. Jimmy Carter signed into law the 10th plank of the Communist Manifesto, putting the government in charge of your education. And 60% of all people under the age of 60 are affected by Jimmy Carter's proclamation, his law.
Well,
and this guy bamboozled the public. He finagled and got $500,000 a year in perks and pension. Jimmy Carter did for the next 50 years from a 4-year disastrous term of the president. That's a con artist, my friend.
Well. Part of that's what all presidents get, but yeah,
well,
they don't get it.
Let me end it with Margaret Taylor Greene.
Yeah,
boy, is she acting like a woman scorned or what?
Yeah, she really has flipped the messaging a little bit, and she's become. Oh man, she's all about her right now.
Well, let me explain something about her being a female. This is exactly why women only occupy 3% of the executive branch. I got to say this now.
Well, you're going to get some hate mail, my friend. But okay.
Well, yeah, I don't care. Hell, I'm 83 or 4 years old. They can't hurt me. They've been trying to hurt me all my life, and I still make money.
All right.
But Margaret Taylor Greene now, you've got to have thick skin to go into the jungle to root out the enemy.
Right.
And you got to have enough ammo. And the guy that sent you in there, which is Trump, he's not the enemy.
No.
And she went to the turf of the enemy 60 Minutes, and she knew that they don't like Trump, and Trump had the lawsuit against him, remember?
Oh, gosh, yes.
And won. And she knew that going in, so she went into the cave knowing that was Trump's enemy. So she knows what she's doing. She's acting like a woman scorned. I'll repeat that.
Well,
because
it's too bad.
A woman scorned.
It's too bad. Well, and we've got a lot of strong women leaders, though, man. You like Margaret Thatcher.
No, I'm talking about her specifically. I'm talking about the other 90%.
All right.
Let's stay focused on Margaret Taylor Greene.
Yeah.
She's acting like that. It's all about her, and it's not about her. She needs to go back and read the 7 points of the Republican conservatism. There's 7 of them. And had her heart been in the platform and not Trump, she wouldn't have been on 60 Minutes. Is my point here, Russ.
I don't really know what her program is right now. It's all jumbled.
It's anti-Trump. It's anti-Trump.
Yeah.
It's anti-Trump. It's where she converted to.
Hey,
but anyway,
I want to tell you, my fact checker is listening to you, and is actually didn't put out a correction, but probably a support. He said that Oprah, you mentioned Oprah supporting Harris. She was paid $1 million to do that.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Well, yeah. Listen, you're doing what you love doing a talk show,
right?
So you get to talk about whatever you want to do, and if you want to sell commercials, you get to price them whatever the market will bear.
Sure.
Well, that's what Oprah did. She got $1 million from someone that liked her. So be it.
Oh yeah, but it takes away it takes away the sincerity, though. You know, it just.
Well, no, it doesn't. No, not from the black point of view. Now,
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
they learned this from corporatism. See, we have a problem with illegal aliens foreign born in this country because of corporatism. They're greed. The more people they can get to buy the freaking product, open the borders and let them in.
Yeah.
That's corporatism. That is worse than communism, my friend. And that's the next step that Trump needs to get a handle on is corporatism that's run amok in this country. Think about what I'm saying.
I do.
Corporatism is one of the platforms it's an ideology. Corporatism is. It's just like communism. And if you let it run amok, it's not. Corporatism is different than capitalism, okay? It's different from free enterprise. It's not what we're talking about here. Corporatism is an ideology. Guess why you got the stock market, Russ? Owned by 88% of the stock market, owned by 10% of the people. Those are corporate people.
Sure.
I hope Edward is listening, and I hope he can help you out in some of these explanations because
he's been trying very hard.
He really has.
He's been trying hard. Yeah.
Well, okay. I thank you for that. All right. But anyway, I've loaded your wagon, so we'll go on that road with the load that I gave you today.
Thank you, sir, man. Take care. Bye-bye. That was OG this morning, bright and early. That'll wake you up. OG will. Let me take a break, and I'll be right back. AM 560 KBLU.
As the nights get colder, some Yuma families are simply hoping for something warm to sleep in. This holiday season, El Dorado Broadcasters and Avenir Financial invite you to join DJs for PJs, a pajama drive, bringing comfort to those who need it most. Please donate new, unused, warm pajamas, any size, from baby to adult, now through December 14th. Drop them off at our station, Avenir Financial, or any local Little Caesars Pizza. Your gift will help local families through Amberley's Place and Arizona's Children Association, because sometimes a little warmth can mean the world.
Today, we're talking with aphids and whiteflies about Safina insecticide from BASF.
We just got nailed with it.
So tell us, how you feeling?
Really, really weird.
And you still want to devour this field?
No way, bro.
There you have it, folks. Safina insecticide is specifically engineered to disorient aphids and whiteflies, so they can't eat. And when they can't eat, they can't destroy.
Help protect your alfalfa from aphids with Safina insecticide. Always read and follow label directions.
AK Day at Firearms Unknown is Saturday, December 13th. Firearms Unknown is having a one-day-only sale on all AK-47s. Firearms Unknown will have discounts on all AK brands like Century, Zastava, Arsenal, Riley Defense, and Pioneer. Plus, with select AK purchases, customers will receive 5 free X-Tech AK magazines. Riley Defense and X-Tech will be on site showcasing their products and answering questions for customers. Spin the prize wheel for a chance at free swag. One day only, Saturday, December 13th. Doors open at 9 a.m. Firearms Unknown, 801 West 32nd Street or firearmsunknown.com.
So Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $29.95 a month for life. Not your phone's life, your life. This top-tier plan is normally $65 a month, but if you switch today, you'll save over 50% every month for the rest of your life. You might say it's the deal of your lifetime. Dial pound 250, say micro, offer ends 12/14. Some restrictions apply. Details at puretalk.com.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto all on one platform. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. All investments involve risk, including loss of principal. Options, futures, and crypto trading carry significant risk and may not suit all investors. Securities offered through Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Futures trading is offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, not FDIC or SIPC protected. Crypto offered through Robinhood Crypto LLC, NMLS ID 1702840, not FDIC or SIPC protected. Portfolio management offered by Robinhood Strategies, an SEC registered advisor.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you. I had a couple things to say about the Somalia issue in Minnesota first. And I related all out how the mayor's taking, supporting him no matter what. Just a quick thing. He was shown at a Somalia meeting, like a neighborhood type get together, and they let him eat some of the local delicacies, which looked horrible on the plate. And his face looked horrible at the same time he was saying how much he loved it. It was, I think Gutfield made fun of him last night on that. Like he looked like he might be having some digestive issues afterwards. But he was gonna play it up like it was the best thing he ever ate. which is the type of politicians that's you just like yuck. This Christopher Rufo that wrote this expose on the Somalians had a co-host, Jonathan Lopez, that summed it up. He says, "You had a great point. You said that the liberal myth is that these groups come to and become American. But in this case, it's the precise opposite. These groups come and the Americans become Somalian." I think that should be looked at like that. I mean, they're so catering to that group, and I read earlier that the reason the Democrat politicians bow down to this group is because they represent enough of Minneapolis to win the vote in Minneapolis. And they also, if you're going to win a statewide vote, you have to have Minneapolis. So even though there's 70, 80,000 people in that state, they've come to control who gets elected. So Tim Walz isn't going to say anything about it. The mayor's not going to say anything about the mayor from Minneapolis. And it's sickening to watch that these guys will bend over backwards to protect that Somali community, even if they're ripping off billions of dollars just to maintain their positions. I don't see any politicians standing up yet in Minneapolis. And I wonder, and I'm curious what's going to happen. I mean, there's going to be somebody that does. There's going to be some politicians that stand up. I wonder what kind of chances they have without the Somali vote. And what they may find out is the 80, 90% of the population that's not Somalian may be sick of it. Maybe they don't like their states losing billions of dollars due to that kind of stuff going on. We may find out. Something about the something along the same theme is SNAP benefits. And remember when the government shut down and it came out that SNAP benefits were going to be paused, that they couldn't do the SNAP benefits. They didn't have the authorization of the money to support SNAP, and of course SNAP is with the agricultural department, and it's a food subsidies and welfare, food stamps, whatever that program, but it's strictly for food. And it does go through the agricultural department. But I think the shock was that it was 42 million people, and I know people. I was shocked. I guess I didn't follow it. I didn't look around and say, well, how many people we got on SNAP today? And it's, oh man, I can't remember. It's 1 in 5 families are affected or something by SNAP. Well, now that it got so much attention and the realization of how much it's grown and the amount of people that are on it, it's worth taking a look at. And Donald Trump is doing just that. And there's a Trump administration is going to clamp down on the fraud, number one, because apparently SNAP is going to people that are no longer alive, that never did live, and to some people multiple times with different aliases. Those are just fraud. And of course, that doesn't get a ton of pushback, but it does get some pushback on that. And the other is the amount of able-bodied people that are on this program that just don't work for whatever reason. They just say, yep, not working. And they live off of SNAP and I'm sure other programs. Something that just went viral the other day was a Tennessee man who responded with anger when he heard about the new crackdown on SNAP, the new restrictions. He's 38 years old. His name's Nelson Scott. And he was asked about this program that said now the restriction is able-bodied people between the ages of 18 and 65 years old who aren't disabled and refuse to work at least 20 hours per week, not going to get it. Well, he said that's just some bull crap when he was interviewed on a local TV station there in Tennessee. He said, I'm devastated, actually, man. Now, he doesn't have any kids. He doesn't have a job, doesn't go to school. He's not disabled. And he's upset that it may affect him being able-bodied and no kids and no reason to get SNAP other than he just doesn't have a job. He says, it helped me a lot. It got me $292 a month. So we were paying that guy $3,500 a year to not work. $3,500 a year in food benefits. U.S. taxpayers. And he argued that it's hard for him to find a job. I'm a felon. I guess he's a 38-year-old felon. And he said, I would get one if y'all give me one. Y'all be felony friendly and hire us. Well, that's what went viral. I know some individuals that are felons. I do. I have over time hired people that are felons. And granted, it's going to be tougher to explain yourself, but those that take the time and those that are really and truly interested in becoming a part of productive society generally find a way to get it done. It got 200,000 views right away on social media, and I'm sure it's getting more now. He said, and a lot of people are commenting. And then it wasn't friendly. I would say it's more on the unfriendly side. One wrote, "Oh, poor baby, has to go to work like the rest of us." And one user on the X platform wrote, "Get your lazy ass out of bed and get a job like the rest of us. I'm sick and tired of supporting these people. I started working when I was 12 years old. I'd work the fields with my Mexican best friend and his family every weekend for about $20 a day back in the mid-70s. I don't know what kind of disconnect and problems we're going to get because of this SNAP crackdown, but 42 million people means that the system has failed to me. Growth in a system like that doesn't signify success. Growth in a system like that signifies that we're doing something terribly wrong. We shouldn't have that many people on government assistance. It's a safety net. It's a bridge. I'm all for them. I'm all for that. Helping people like that, but help them get ahead. Just don't help them sustain where they are, and that's what it's become. It's not become a safety net. It's become a very comfortable place to be, I guess, for some that don't want to work their way out of it. So we'll see where this stuff goes, but I think I think public opinion on it's mixed. I'm surprised sometimes. I'm surprised at the drive for socialism. I'm surprised about some of that, and I've got some more stories about that, and some of it I mentioned when OG was on, talking about the group of people that are willing to right now vote socialism into our country. And we're seeing it with Mandani, and we're seeing that with more and more Democrats that are Democrat socialist. And the Democrat Party, which was the party of the working man, is now the party of the socialist, I don't want to work man. It's amazing to me that it transformed right in front of us while we're all watching. And we didn't do anything about it. I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to come back and talk more about that, and about what many are saying is a rational reason behind it. What's going on? Where did we go wrong? And that may help us figure out how to right it before we start becoming the subject of a Marxist government. We'll be right back.
Well, it's all fun and games until you're stuck with bad internet. Not so much fun. Say goodbye to bad internet. Say hello to local support from a company that believes in better. Say goodbye to the spinning wheel of doom and the regular equipment rebooting. And say hello to a hassle-free experience. Say goodbye to the internet struggles of yesterday and say hello to a provider that picks our community and provides a product and service that's locally rooted right here in our hometown. Find out more at allofiber.com. That's allofiber.com.
At Exceptional Community Hospital, we are redefining what emergency care should feel like. Fast, personal, and compassionate. Our experienced ER physicians and staff are here 24/7 to care for your unexpected illness or injury. Don't wait for emergency care when you can be seen in minutes. With short wait times, you'll get the prompt attention you need because every minute matters. And if your recovery takes longer, we provide the inpatient care you deserve. Exceptional Community Hospital. Compassionate care. Exceptional service.
Since 1905, the Yuma County Chamber of Commerce has been the voice for business in Greater Yuma. Want to stay informed about Yuma's business community? The Chamber connects you with local leaders, business and marketing opportunities, and advocacy that ensures Yuma stays a great place for your business to grow and thrive. Serving all of Yuma and Yuma County, including the Kokopah and Quishan nations, the Chamber strengthens partnerships that move our region forward. Be part of Yuma's business network. Call Valeria or Ashley today at 928-782-2567.
There's a man in D.C.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark with you.
He stands 6 foot.
It's Tuesday morning, 6:45. You got plenty of time to get to work. Yeah, just take your time. Before I get in, well, I want to get into the socialist feeling about socialism in our country, which is much different than it was when I was in high school many years ago. And I'll just start by saying young voters between the ages 18 and 39, 60% of them said they want that they would support a government housing, nationwide rent freeze, government-run grocery stores in every town. And the majority of them would vote for Democrat socialists to win the White House in 2028. More than 50%. Now that's the group of 18 to 39. And why they feel that way and how they got that way is what we're going to talk about. One other thing they support, which was odd in this article, they would support an artificial intelligent run government. Yeah, artificial intelligent run government. That they think that the artificial intelligence could do better things for us than having people. So obviously, some of you parents out there need to rent the movie Terminator and make your kids watch it. I don't know how we could lost sight of that so fast and so quick, but apparently the education that we got, if you're 60 plus, on artificial intelligence makes some skepticism out there on how much we trust and how much we turn over that we lose control of. Somehow that didn't filter down to our kids or the socialists, which, we grew up looking at the Berlin Wall, the Soviet Union, the failures in North Korea, the failures in other socialist communist countries that are just not doing well. Well, apparently these kids of today do not have the same education, the same understanding. They think we can do socialism right. They don't know. I mean, when we grew up, socialism was a punchline. It stood for failure, repression, economic ruin. It stood for Cuba, for North Korea, those kind of things, which was just devastating. Devastating. But I guess the youth, you've seen them wear T-shirts of Cuba dictators, Cuba leaders that murdered people and destroyed their entire country, and put it into poverty anyway. And the same ones that yell at the Trump administration and Pete Hegseth and others as being murderers because they've blown up narco-terrorist boats that were bringing fentanyl to our country that has killed 100,000 people a year, or at least 100,000 of overdoses, most of it fentanyl. And the question is, what's the change and what is happening? And of course, there's during the poll numbers and everything, they're looking at it, but many young Americans just know little about socialism. They don't know. They don't know the history. They don't know the consequences. They don't know the track record. And they've been conditioned to believe it can fix the challenges in front of them. I'm talking about education here, of course. And I don't know what's different about the education system on how that all got missed and how that didn't work out. Didn't work out, but it's obvious it's schools, but something that wasn't obvious to me is parents. And according to this article, the parents were the most influential voices in shaping their children's support of the democratic socialism. Parents. I guess they want the best for the kids. They know the kids couldn't make it if they had to depend on their own hard labor. So they said, yeah, you should just become a socialist. You get as much as everybody then, I guess. I don't know, but more than half of the respondents in these studies that they did said their parents held a favorable view of socialism. At least that was the kids' interpretations. Whether or not they go home to the parents and the parents say, what? How is that possible? I don't know. But that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with an education crisis. And I guess the left has used propaganda and understanding, and little by little, with the Democrats' giveaway, people think it's the way to go. Look at Somalians, how happy they are. Of course, that's all fraud and graft, but I think a lot of socialism has that in there too, just like capitalism. People at the top are going to be very well off. Just in socialism, you got a lot more people at the bottom. More than half of the teachers and professors view democratic socialism favorably. That does not surprise me. More than half. I've known teachers, friends of mine that have moved to like San Francisco area, the Bay Area and stuff, and have to hide their conservatism and make sure they don't get found out. Just isn't something you would take into the teacher's lounge. Wear a Trump sticker. Unfortunately. And they don't in the classrooms. So there's been decades of ideological drift that because the parents that grew up during the Cold War, during the collapse of USSR, they're not having the influence that they should. They're not. And now these kids think that, well, socialism might work. And many of them sympathize with socialism causes and think it's hostile free market capitalism. And that started all during the progressive era. What was that? Woodrow Wilson, maybe? That it started. That we just need everyone to have equity, not equality. And that's been very strong lately about equity. That means same results for everybody, regardless of the work put in or the amount of work put in, that everybody gets the same, which is socialism. Well, the public education's been drifting leftward, I guess, for a long time. And they've been teaching for years now that socialism is benevolent, capitalism is predatory. So maybe these results are what we get from allowing that to happen and watching that happen in front of us. They now see the free market as an enemy. The kids do. And a lot of it, according to this article and the opinions, that it's a collapse of basic literacy. The kids can't read, not to the strength that they should. Are failing. And numeracy. Yeah, they don't know math and they don't know the basics. When they can't read well, they struggle with math and can't write a coherent paragraph. They are more vulnerable to ideological manipulation and more likely to lean on machines to think for them, which is what we're seeing, especially with AI coming out as strong as it is. I'm not spreading doom and gloom, but reality is we've got some work to do. We've got some work to do to save the country, actually. So this article says it shouldn't shock anyone that it's leaning the way it is. We've let it go. And now with the AI system coming up, the thinking amongst many of those that are socialistic in nature, thinking that Well, we'll take the human person out because you see, when Castro became the leader of a communist country, it didn't all go to the people, believe me. They don't have the same retirement plan that the Castro's kids inherited. But they're comfortable letting the AI system create the laws, create the rules, and create the regulations. Nearly 40% want that AI system to determine human rights and control the world's most powerful militaries. Yeah, that's definitely a lack of education. Children grow up thinking technology is omnipotent. But it's time we start teaching the truth about socialism. Just the facts, the socialism, and show the differences in the country. Do one of those pictures of a satellite looking down on Earth at nighttime and see who has the lights on. It's not the socialist countries. They can't afford the electricity. But there's a lot of stories out there, testimonials, documentaries, books. Talk to somebody that escaped socialism that's in the country now. They're advocates for don't let this happen to the United States. We need to do that. But socialism has a case for famine, repression, forced labor, mass murder, horrors. The evidence is all out there. We don't teach it. We don't look at it. And we owe it to the next generation to let them know the truth, whatever that is, whatever the truth is. The country, the United States, was built on capitalistic values. And it didn't become the richest, most powerful nation in the world because we're the most populous. No, it didn't become it that way. It didn't come that way because we inherited it all. During the signing of the Constitution, what were we in 3 million people in population? But an ideal of independence, an ideal of hard work, and that you could become anything you want to become. It wasn't a monarchy. It still isn't. It wasn't passed on from generation to generation like Kim Jong-un. It was a democratic republic with free markets and not perfect by any means. I mean, we've had scandals, we've had monopolies, we've had problems, but the basic workings pull us through. And the justice system finally gets together and pulls it through. We're not the best system ever. I mean, we're not the best we could be. We're just the best it's ever been, probably. And the danger with our kids right now, they don't see it. They don't believe it. And with the hate and rhetoric that's going on in Washington, D.C., and the partisan bickering and the crazy people, the Jasmine Crockett's and the AOC that get ahead based on what nonsense, just spewing anything they want without any facts, and they get a pass. They just get a pass and move on, move forward. Because the people that surround those are surrounding them on emotion and on the ideology that will give you what you need, and they don't have anyone else telling them that. And I guess they're looking for something for free. They want mom and dad to take care of them forever. But that can change. That can change, and I think I see it changing in Arizona, particularly with the education going into homeschooling and everything else. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, this is Ernie.
Hey, Ernie, good morning.
Hey, as far as I know, the Constitution guarantees that we have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Right.
It doesn't guarantee that they're going to feed you or do anything else.
That's right. It doesn't guarantee outcomes. It guarantees opportunity.
That's right, opportunity.
Yeah.
If you don't want to take the opportunity, you can go out and live in the desert and live off of plants or whatever, right?
The kids don't want that. Right now, they believe they should be guaranteed with equity. Whatever rich people have, you share it. And that's going to just crumble the entire system.
Yeah, well, I was like that one fellow that called in, back in the 60s. I went out and picked fruit, watermelons, cantaloupes, whatever, in the middle of summer.
Yeah.
I was 12, 13 years old.
Sure. Well, we've taken that away from our youth. Now it's child labor laws wouldn't even allow that, Ernie.
And even back then, though, they had food that you could get. It was government issue. Cheese and sugar and powdered eggs and powdered milk, stuff like that. And that was a supplement, your food supply. And where they've gone wrong is now they have these cards, I guess they call them EBT cards or whatever.
Right, credit cards. Really, it's what they operate like a credit card.
Yeah, so you can go into a Circle K or anywhere and buy whatever you want.
Chips and candy bars and soda, man.
So, yeah, and that is a total waste and it's unhealthy, and we've got enough health issues in this country as it is.
Yep.
So,
they do.
I think it's just crazy, and they need to go back to the old system.
I'm out of time, my friend. I got to run top of the hour news, but thank you for your call. Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye. We will be right back. AM 560, KBLU.
Is News Talk 560 KBLU, Yuma. Affordability. I'm Chris Foster of Fox News. That continues to be the word in national politics, and President Trump gives a speech about his economic agenda today in Pennsylvania.
President Trump spent a lot of time on the campaign trail talking about bringing down the cost of living. Today, he will be in Pennsylvania giving a speech to remind voters that he hasn't forgotten about his campaign pledge.
You can call it affordability or anything you want, but the Democrats caused the affordability problem, and we're the ones that are fixing it. So it's a very simple statement. They caused it. We're fixing it.
The president focused on the American consumer coming one day after he announced the government's going to spend $12 billion to issue American farmers one-time payments amid a dismal year in farming. The trade war with China amid many other countries also having weak demand for some agricultural products.
Fox's Mark Meredith. Ukraine is presenting the United States with a revised plan for peace with Russia.
This new offer comes after talks between Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky and the leaders of the UK, France, and Germany. President Zelensky says the revised plan comprises 20 points, but on the most difficult issue, giving up territory to Russia, there's still no agreement. The United States wants Ukraine to hand over land, but the Ukrainian leader says he's constitutionally barred from doing so.
Fox's Jonathan Savage in London. There's a runoff election today for mayor of Albuquerque, New Mexico, between Democrat incumbent Tim Keller and Republican former Sheriff Darren White.
In Miami, a runoff is also scheduled between Republican former city manager Emilio Gonzalez and Democratic former county commissioner Eileen Higgins. Both the mayor's race and office in both Miami and Albuquerque are officially nonpartisan. Miami's mayor is a part-time position. In Miami, Evan Brown, Fox News.
Australia's ban on social media for kids under 16 has just taken effect, with more than 1 million accounts being deactivated. America's listening to Fox News.
You probably heard Relief Factor commercials where somebody says to his spouse regarding his pain, "You don't understand. It's gone." Well, Sharon told us that's exactly how she feels. She wrote to me and she said, "Glenn, Relief Factor has helped me so much. I plan on taking it for the rest of my life. I'm a walking testimonial." For me, it was more like Tanya twisting my arm to give Relief Factor a try. I heard about Relief Factor All Natural, created by doctors, blah, blah, blah. I really agreed to try it, not in thinking it would work. I just wanted to get her to stop telling me to do something and prove her wrong. Well, she was right, again, of course, and I got my life back. Not only did I not have to live in pain, I could thrive again. If pain has been holding you back, maybe it's time you found out why so many people just like Sharon, just like me, make Relief Factor part of their daily routine. 2 out of 3 people who try it go on to order more month after month. I'm one of them. Try the 3-week quick start today. See how it works for you. Visit relieffactor.com, 800-4-RELIEF. That's 800-4-RELIEF. 800-4-RELIEF.
From the News 11's Information Desk, I'm Jaylene Aguilera.
It's the final week for the Salvation Army Angel Tree Program. The Christmas Assistance Program helps over 300 Yuma County families and provides holiday food boxes and gifts to children up to 12 years old. Locals can find the Angel Tree tags at Walmart, Sam's Club, and several other local businesses around town. Each tag represents a specific child in Yuma that needs your help to make your Christmas dreams come true. The deadline to return the tags is this Friday. You can bring them to the Salvation Army Red Bins or any fire station in Yuma County. Plus, the local organization collected hams to give to all local heroes in our area. The Hams Are Heroes event drive encourage people to donate hams that will go to firefighters, police, and veterans. The event is being put on by the K9 Ops Foundation with all the donations going to these local heroes. The foundation passed their goal by collecting over 100 hams. Catch us on the TV side on News 11 every weekday at 5, 6, and 10 p.m. for your latest local news, weather, and sports.
To be a part of Russ's show, call 928-344-5258. That's 928-344-5258.
What's up, Yuma, and hello, Russ Clark Show listeners. Johnny Porter here, and I just made the switch to Allo Fiber, and it's a game changer. Lightning fast speeds for streaming, working from home, and gaming. No buffering or slowed down speeds. It's time to ditch the glitch and switch to Allo Fiber.
There's a man in D.C. He stands 6'3". He's fighting for you. He's fighting for me. He'll drain that old swamp.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you. It's 7:05 on a Tuesday morning. Having interesting questions from Melanie this morning on one of our listeners. She says, how many folks do you think will lose their work from home computer jobs with the rise of AI? I think that's due to happen. I think AI will displace and will move things around a lot. It's already had an effect in some industries and some businesses where, you look at McDonald's. When you used to go to McDonald's, it was wall-to-wall people to make that thing work. It's hard to find anybody in there now. In fact, when you go in, you walk up to your computer screen and put your order in. It just comes out. We're going to see more and more of that as AI becomes more sophisticated. That's not even sophisticated, that really. But that is a way that industry's going, particularly with states like Arizona that put the minimum wage up so high that they can't afford to hire uneducated youths and teach them how to work. Used to be there was a beginning, of a job in a lot of these places, which was apprentice-like work, to learn how to get to work on time, to learn how to manage. And we took that away when we made that that living wage crap, that everybody's got to have a living wage. If you're 16 or 18 or whatever, just starting in a job and make the same as a guy that's raising the kids. It's crazy, but that's what we came up with, with the left. And I think that's just, that's hurting it. But as far as AI taking over, it will. Look, I saw a huge percentage of population displaced when computers became mainstream. And if you're around long enough, you'll see those kind of things. The cotton gin put a lot of field workers out of work. The backhoe did ditch diggers out of work. All of a sudden, we didn't need the guy with as many of them with shovels. We got backhoes. All of these reshuffle our work environment. Now you have to have lots of mechanics and hydraulics working on backhoes. You have to have computer technicians and people working on computers. But still, there's an overall saving. It's very much more productive. But the jobs change. What AI does, I don't know completely, but yeah, it's going to reduce the workload. Just like computers reduced the workload, and it created a lot more opportunity, created more wealth overall. And with more wealth, I guess people go out to eat more, they do more things. There's more jobs available at restaurants, theme parks. I don't know. But it does shift around. It definitely does. Another question she puts up: do And I get this question a little bit about the houses. You know, is there going to be another bubble, another bust like we had with housing prices that we've seen in recent history, where it goes up to the point and something breaks? And a lot of that had to do with the finances of it, and a lot to do with the mortgage companies and the government. I think there's more controls in place, but the prices right now, even in Yuma, are becoming to the point where people look at it and think that, well, I'll never own a house. They're all just too expensive now. Houses have gone extremely high. I agree with that feeling and the looking at it. And I'm not the expert in this by any means, but I do talk to people that look at it, and there was feelings. I had a friend that wanted to sell a house a few years ago in Yuma, and I talked to a guy that would be more of an expert in the field than I am, and he said, absolutely not. Yuma's going to continue to go up. And sure enough, it did. It's gone up dramatically since this person wanted to sell in Yuma. I don't see that changing right now. There's still a booming market in Yuma. Some of that comes from California and other places to move here, particularly because some people work at home now because of AI, because of computers, because of those things, and they can live in communities like Yuma instead of living in communities like downtown LA. And that's beneficial for some, right? And it gets out there. As far as it hitting a bubble, I don't know. I don't think so. I think with all the ice out there, sending people home. I mean, I think there's going to be more houses available if there really is that many millions of people that are living here that shouldn't be. I think the exodus is going to be greater than the incoming, and there's probably going to be a slight dip in population. That probably going to stabilize some things, but I don't know that for sure. And I remember when I was in high school, my parents bought a house in a place called Chapelcroft in Camden, Delaware. It's just outside Dover. It's a suburb of Dover, Delaware, the capital. And we lived in Camden, Delaware, and they bought this house, and they paid a fortune for this house. It was 4 bedrooms with a full basement, probably 2,000 square foot plus the basement, on a lot that backed up to a wooded area. So it was a nice, simple home. It was $19,900, more money than I thought existed on the planet. $19,900 for a house. And I looked at that and thought, I don't know that I could ever save that much money. I think I was making $1.60 or something as a teenager, 14, 15 years old. $1.60 an hour. So by the time I left Chapelcroft, and we moved there in 1972, and I graduated from high school in 1975. My neighbor friend bought his parents' house that was not right next door, and he paid $80,000 for it, right next door. And he bought that in 79 or so. So we'd lived in the house for 7 years. It went up from $20,000, which our house was, and I'm sure theirs was about the same, probably. It was a little smaller, but it was, and it went for $80,000. I thought that, his parents ripped him off. I can't believe he did that to him, and I thought, that's just so far out of reach. How can you afford an $80,000 house? I remember going through that and thinking that it's going to be impossible for me to buy, but it wasn't, and I bought many houses and sold many houses, but I think we're in that mode right now where the cost of housing has obviously outpaced inflation, outpaced wages to keep up with it. I don't think there's any doubt about that, especially in Arizona. What did it go up 25% in 1 year, the average house price in 1 year? In recent years, it's been a few years ago, but it's gone up every year. We haven't had it go down. So you say, well, where's the breaking point? And is it going to break? Is it going to come? Is it going to get to the point where we have another bust? I don't know, but that's a lot of factors that went into that on the ones that we've seen. It had a lot to do with investments and strategies with the loans and all that kind of stuff. But and the 0% interest, not checking backgrounds, and hopefully a lot of that's gone. And a lot of people that got into homes that couldn't afford them, and they just walked away and created a big problem. Yeah, and Melanie asked if folks can't work from home, will that affect home purchases here? Maybe. That's a great question, but I don't know why AI would stop people from working at home. I mean, if they've got something that they can do from home now, I mean, after AI gets more full in swing, I can't imagine that changes. But again, I would rely on some experts to find out on that and talk to them. But just my observations from what I've seen, I don't see that. I don't see it happening anytime soon. I don't. Phone lines are open 928-344-5258. New York City Mayor now Zoran Mandani has, he's been getting the news for quite a while. It's so outrageous that we have a Democrat socialist running for the mayor of New York City, and of course the outrage was not that we had one running, because I'm sure it's happened quite a bit, but one running that really had a chance to win, and he did win. He is going to be the next mayor. And even though he's won the election, he hasn't backed off on his socialism, type mentality and attitude. He's still talking about that. So I think he's real. I think he's real about socialism. Well, he just recently started talking about ICE agents. He put out a video, as a matter of fact. And this is the mayor-elect, the one coming into business. And he opens this video by recalling an ICE agent last weekend in Manhattan that sought to detain immigrants. He said, as mayor, I'll protect the rights of every single New Yorker, and that includes the more than 3 million immigrants who call this city their home. But we can all stand up to ICE if you know your rights. First, ICE cannot enter into private spaces like your home, school, or private area of your workplace without a judicial warrant signed by the judge. That's absolutely partially true. They cannot raid a business or a home without a warrant. That's absolutely true. And I don't know this back, the particulars on the school or private area. I don't know what a private area of your workplace means. I don't know. I mean, is that the bathroom? Possibly. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you can hide out there. But if there's a lot of workplaces that they're welcome and they can go in, they don't need your permission to go in to that. So be cautious with some of that advice. But you would need a warrant signed by a judge in order for them to kick in a door. No question. You don't need a warrant signed by a judge to get arrested. You just need I forget what they call their warrants, but you just needed a warrant from that organization that says you're in the country illegally and you're going to be arrested, and that's from Homeland Security, and they can pick you up. That doesn't mean they can kick your door down at that point. To kick your door down, then they would have to go see a judge, and they try to avoid that. The ICE agents try to avoid that, and when they get a suspect, they are going to try to find you outside your house normally. And if you're in jail, they really want to cooperate with the city and say, look, just hand him over to me. And that saves all that aggravation of kicking a door down or finding him in another place, like a workplace or something, that is going to create more havoc. Now, I don't think the left minds all of that. They've got these rapid response teams that run out and get front page news. They get arrested themselves, and when they go into a place of business and they arrest a few and you run from them, they're going to grab those people. They're going to grab people that resist, people that fight, even if they're not after them. The dragnet could become bigger versus if they're after a couple of people. If they just walk out and walk to the ICE agents, and they'd leave everybody else there alone, I would assume. But it says if ICE doesn't have, and this is from Mandani, if ICE does not have a judicial warrant signed by a judge, you have the right to say, I do not consent to entry, and the right to keep your door closed. True. Yeah, they can't kick your door down. Now, they can wait outside while they go get an order from a judge. That's fine. ICE may present paperwork claiming authority to make an arrest, but said that is false. Well, I would disagree. I think Tom Homan would agree. There is paperwork that comes through from the Homeland Security that is an arrest warrant. It won't let you get your door kicked in, but if you're on the streets or you're someplace that they can pick you up, by all means. They're going to pick you up. He says ICE is illegally allowed to lie to you. ICE is legally allowed to lie to you, but you have the right to remain silent. Everybody has the right to remain silent. If you're detained, you may always ask, am I free to go? Repeatedly. Until they answer you. And they might answer you with like, shut up. No, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't have any idea how that works. But I think that would get annoying after a while. Am I free to go? And I guess if they don't have a warrant for you specifically or something, maybe I don't know how you'd have to ask an ICE officer that. People are legally allowed to film, of course. We know that. ICE agents, as long as they do not interfere, and that's key. And I'm glad he throws that in there. I mean, that's reasonable. You don't interfere with ICE. And you see that in these videos all the time when they're jumping in front of the ICE or pushing ICE, like get off my friend and that kind of that. You put hands on an officer, you're setting yourself up for handcuffs. Don't put your hands on an officer. It is important to remain calm during interaction with ICE or law enforcement. Do not impede their investigation, resist, arrest, or run. Well, see, he actually threw some good advice in there. Now, those are all make sense. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Good morning, Russ.
Good morning.
I was thinking about New York City becoming socialized, and that how bad it is for people that, and the ones that are pushing for it don't know any better, and our new generation.
Yeah, true.
I was thinking that if New York City fails, that it would set a good example to all of the knuckleheads out there that want socialism, and have them look at it, in action, and see how it fails, without having the whole country, like some guy becoming president and turning the whole country, into a communist country.
Right.
That maybe they could use New York City, because it's bound to fail, and they're going to be without money, and and then without money they're not going to have social programs unless they beg President Trump for more money.
Correct.
And I don't see it happening. So
it's not going to happen in the next 3 years. And I think you're right. I think it would be a great example. I wonder though, people are generous, especially with other people's money. And there's those that are going to say, well, we can't let poor, these poor New Yorkers fail. It's not their fault. That's what you're going to hear. It's not their fault. Somebody needs to bail them out. And of course, we've done that for cities. We did that under Biden. He bailed out tons of cities. I think it was a great deal that we let Detroit completely fail.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But I mean, it's just like okay, so it's not their responsibility. What about the people that come here illegally, and ICE is looking for them, and they have these congressional Democrats that go out and say you're doing wrong, to ICE, and then they can, they arrest the guy, and he's got all these bleeding heart people that are saying that ICE is no good and so on, and
right.
I love them. So anyway.
Well, they make money doing that, to tell you the truth. A lot of their donors, from the far left, say, here's a person with courage, and they start throwing dollars at him. Why do you think Annalita Grijalva said, I was pepper sprayed and all that stuff? Well, she's looking for donors. And she's a hero. And of course, she's a liar. She never got pepper sprayed.
Yeah. Well, she martyred herself by continuing to walk into the smoke or whatever it was that ICE had done. So
yeah, she smelled it. That's about it, maybe. I don't know. Well, I know people that were there that just said it was all a lie. They were with her. They were there.
Yeah, and that was in Tucson, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Well, we'll see about her. She's lying through her teeth, though. Doggone it.
Yeah.
And people accept it.
They reward it. They reward it. The people on the left just reward it. And I don't know if it's just a few rich guys or where that money's coming from, but AOC, Crockett, they make big bank. Why do you think Crockett keeps acting like a fool? The more that she's the clown and the jester, the more money comes her way.
Yeah. I have a good question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We have a lot of very, very wealthy people who are Democrats and support the Democrat movement.
Right.
And I'm trying to figure out what is the payoff for them? What is the bottom line for them? Because they wouldn't be Democrats if there wasn't something they could get out of it.
Correct.
Yeah. And so what is it that drives them to become and stay Democrats?
They make more money when Democrats are in power. The rich make more money when Democrats are in power. And I've had people try, and they've explained it to me for years that, and what it does is it stops entrepreneurism, it slows it down, and it takes away the competition that these rich people have. Well, let's say you own a big chain of restaurants or something, and you don't want the mom and pops to succeed. You don't want them to grow. You don't get Democrats in, and they actually, the Democrats will support the big businesses. Look, during COVID, who did they keep open? They kept open the Walmarts, all the big businesses. They kept open. They only shut down the mom and pops, and they shut down all the little guys that were competition.
Yeah,
so
some of them are out of business.
Correct. So the big guys love the Democrats, even though they're capitalist, but they're capitalist enough to look at it and say, well, they wipe my competition out and support me blindly. And that's why, because it's like an oligarch system. And, the Democrats are putting out that no more oligarchs, no more oligarchs. They're the oligarch people. Trump brings in things that raises the tide for everybody, that floats all boats, that brings prosperity to everybody by reducing government intervention and gives more opportunity. Well, actually, the Democrats don't like that much because their big boys get competition.
Right.
That is the big rub. Now there becomes a breaking point where even the Democrat billionaires walk away, and they're doing that in New York right now because it's going to be there's so much socialism and so much that they can't even survive, and so they'll move to a more conservative Texas, Arizona, Florida, and survive there, still supporting the Democrats nationally, so that we don't grow too fast and give too much opportunity to too many people that may take my throne.
Yeah. But we walked away from California 5 years ago, and I'm glad we did.
Yeah.
And
good move.
Our kids are still there.
Yeah.
And they have to deal with that.
Well, you got the opportunity to send them sympathy letters and stuff like that all the time, I'm sure.
Right.
All right,
okay.
man.
Well, thanks a lot.
Appreciate the call. Thanks. Bye-bye.
You bet. Bye.
Yeah, that is confusing on how do the rich people celebrate Democrats so much? Well, there you go, man. They thin out the herds. They take away the competition. Even Democrat billionaires like that. We'll be right back. AM 560.
Yuma, the Great American RV Roadshow Super Sale was set to end, but holiday shoppers packed the Yuma Fairgrounds, so we're sticking around one more week.
Festive end-of-season clearance prices are still rolling on new and used RVs, including our very best deals on repos and trades.
This is one of the world's largest traveling RV sales, but when it's gone, it's gone.
RVs cost less at the Great American RV Roadshow.
Extended through Sunday at the Yuma Fairgrounds. Parking and admission are free. Presented by RV Country.
'Tis the season for cozy nights, holiday movies, and full houses, so make sure your internet can keep up. Allo Fiber brings you lightning-fast 100% fiber optic internet that doesn't slow down when everyone's home for the holidays. Check them out at allofiber.com.
There's a man in D.C.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you. 7:28 on Tuesday morning. Zoran Mandani doing a video on making sure you don't cooperate with ICE. Yeah, but overall, it does tell him in this last thing, it's important to remain calm during any interaction with ICE, that's not what you see on video because those don't go viral. Or law enforcement. Do not impede their investigation, resist arrest, or run. I wonder if they heard that part. They just heard the part about don't answer the door. But you can stand up to ICE. He starts off, but you can stand up to ICE, know your rights, but don't resist arrest or run. Sounds contradictory. New Yorkers have a constitutional right to protest. Of course, no one's ever. But protest isn't jumping into traffic and blocking people. He says, when I'm mayor, we will protect that right. New Yorkers will always welcome immigrants, and I will fight each day to protect, support, and celebrate our immigration brothers and sisters. Well, we do have a right to protest, and we do have, we should welcome immigrants that come in legally, not illegal, and that's a problem. But this is 2 weeks. This video comes out 2 weeks after President Donald Trump and the mayor-elect sat down and had a talk at the White House, and it looked cordial, and that's okay. I mean, it should be. There's no reason to put the gloves on or throw the gloves off if you're in hockey and duke it out or anything like that. And Trump was actually hilarious. When someone asked Mandani, you called Trump a Nazi or something, do you still stand by that? And he started to stutter a little bit, and Trump says, oh, no, just tell him it's okay. It doesn't matter. That's hilarious. Mandani actually talked about the meeting with Trump. He said, I shared with the president directly that New Yorkers want to follow the laws of our city. And the laws of our city say that. In our sanctuary policy, city government can be in touch with the federal government on around 170 serious crimes. I don't know where he's going with that. So they have a sanctuary policy, but they can still be in touch with the government on 170 serious crimes. I don't think that's what's happening. I mean, ICE to my knowledge, request for a notification or to hold a suspect so we can come pick them up, and somehow wasn't one of the 170 crimes. I have no idea. I have no idea what that is. First I've heard of it. The concern comes from beyond those crimes. The many New Yorkers who are being arrested, they're being detained, they're being deported for crimes of making a regular court appearance. My focus as an ex-mayor of the city is going to protect immigrants who call the city home. Now, what he's talking about, let's say somebody has a court appearance, it could be for anything. It could be domestic violence. It could be, traffic ticket, could be anything. But if their name pops up on, and it's in the records of a order of deportation that they have in their hands, yeah, they're going to go to the courthouse and pick him up, because that way it's not dangerous for the ICE officers. It's not dangerous for the person involved. It's not dangerous for everybody around, because the courthouse is secured. It's got security. Now, the fact that they say that they cannot keep them out of a courthouse, to my knowledge. They can't. They have a right to be there. The ICE agents do. And they're going to talk to the guy in the hallway and say, oh, it's nice to see you out of the courtroom. We want to have a conversation. I guess Mandani doesn't like that. But that's ICE agents trying to do what's best and safest for all involved. And they should be able to do that. Trump is threatening a tariff on Mexico. Yeah, I know we have tariffs. We do. But he's threatening more. And the issue is actually a surprise issue. I didn't know. It's about water. Water. Now, see, water should get the attention of everybody in Yuma, because we're sensitive about water. Our biggest industry, agriculture, is a great steward of water, but also a great user. They use a lot of water. In fact, probably Yuma County gets as much water as Maricopa. And it's not because of the residents, it's because of the agriculture. But that's water well used, and they're good stewards of it. Donald Trump warned on Monday to Mexico their failure to deliver water that was owed to them. This is water owed to farmers in Texas, and it's harming Texas farmers. At first, I didn't know that they held water up, but Trump is telling them to release 200,000 acre feet of water through the 1944 water treaty before December 31st. That's this year, before December 31st, or face an additional 5% tariff overall. Mexico continues to violate our comprehensive water treaty, and this violation is seriously hurting our beautiful Texas crops and livestock. Mexico still owes the U.S. over 800,000 acre feet of water for failing to comply with our treaty over the past 5 years. The U.S. needs Mexico to release 200,000 acre feet of water before December 31st, and the rest must come soon after. As of now, Mexico is not responding, and it is very unfair to our U.S. farmers who deserve this much-needed water. That is why I have authorized documentation to impose 5% tariff on Mexico if this water isn't released immediately. The longer Mexico takes to release the water, the more our farmers are hurt. Mexico has an obligation to fix this now. Texas farm groups say last year had a disastrous season for citrus and sugar. Mexican and U.S. officials worked to resolve the dispute over the 1944 treaty that supplies U.S. farmers with critical irrigation. The two countries have clashed over the treaty before. But drought-driven shortages are the most severe in nearly 30 years. Under the 1944 water treaty, Mexico agrees to deliver 1.75 million acre feet of water over 5 years from the Rio Grande. In exchange, the U.S. agreed to deliver 1.5 million acre feet to Mexico from the Colorado River. Mexico has fallen short at times, leading to severe water shortages in the Rio Grande Valley for farmers and ranchers. These shortages have killed crops and jobs and threatened the region's economy. What do you think? Maybe we should just send our water to Texas, although that would be logistically impossible. Can't work that way. I mean, it could with great amount of money and pumps, but that would not be practical. I didn't know there was a trade-off with the Rio Grande and the Colorado, and they are not doing their share. And I know out here on the Colorado River, there is a station that they check the water. I think every day they check the water. They check the water depth. They check the current and estimate how much water is passing into Mexico, and it's verified by. And they check the purity too. They make sure it's not too salty or something. But the Mexicans and the United States they check that. I think every day. They go out there. That's like a job. Go out there and check the water to make sure that we're delivering the right amount of water. Apparently, they're not as diligent down in south of Texas on the Rio Grande. So I'm sure we'll hear more about it. They got till New Year's Day to get that done, but I don't think they're communicating from the sound of it. Jasmine Crockett. Everybody's heard the name. She just announced she's running for Senate. But did she really have a choice? Did she? She had no choice. Look, Supreme Court just came through. I think it was Supreme Court just came through, and they agreed with Texas's redistricting that they're allowed to do it. And the outrage comes from the left, and one that I didn't really pay a lot of attention to, but it was racially divided. I mean, these districts where you had minority majority districts, and that minority majority was always, I guess, blacks. Blacks would have a district, and that took a lot of gerrymandering to bring those neighborhoods all together. They didn't have anything in common other than their skin color, but that always supported Democrat candidates. And there was no racial profiling for Republican candidates, but all these Democrat states took huge advantage of it, so that the Republicans are way underrepresented according to the population because of the gerrymandering in Democrat states. But Republican states can't do that very well because of the mandates of minority majority districts. Now that that's gone, that they found out that putting lines out there for districts on race only is a racist move. Believe it or not, doing it by race is racist. So they dropped that. The Supreme Court says, yeah, that is racist. So they don't do that. Well, now places like Texas have the opportunity to do the same thing the Democrat states are doing, and they are furious about it. Or angry about it, but it's being upheld. And Jasmine Crockett's district was a majority minority district, which has vanished. The district doesn't exist. And that's where she has to run. Well, she could run in a different district. There's nothing to hold her back from that. But she's going to run in a district that doesn't have a minority majority advantage. So she said, what the heck? Let's go in for Senate. Senate's a statewide race in Texas, like it is in every state. It's statewide. So she threw her name in yesterday. I've heard commentary says, she didn't really have any choice. It was either that or just not run somewhere. She would be running in a district that's not very favorable. But I don't know that running for Senate is favorable for her, but she's gained a lot of attention. She's gained a lot of notoriety. She's got a lot of money now. She's got popularity amongst her base. But her base is much smaller in Texas than it is in just her district. It's a big difference. So she launched her speech to her supporters in Dallas, where she got to frame her candidacy. And here's her framework on a candidacy. She wants to stand up against Donald Trump. Well, that's it. That's her candidacy, and I think that works well for her base. And for many of us, may look at that and say, "You're going to do what else are you going to do? Stand up to." And of course, we've been living with that. We've lived with that. Everything that Trump did was bad, and that's how we got into trouble when Biden got in and literally undid everything that Trump put in, including everything that worked. And we have this ridiculousness on the border and inflation and everything else. Her announcement came right after Democrat candidate, former Representative Colin Allred, announced he would be dropping out of the race. And I don't know if that was coordinated. They probably had to know that was going on. I mean, I'm sure that Allred knew that Jasmine was going to run before he dropped out. Now, whether or not that was his decision, what made the decision is unknown, but to go up against someone like Crockett, who's got all that notoriety and all that ability to garnish cash and is nationally known, and nobody knows who Colin Allred is, doesn't get that play. And somebody's asked me, why do these people act like such fools like Jasmine and AOC? Well, that's the reason. Like it or not, they get, any publicity is good publicity, I guess, for a while, at least. Texas Governor Greg Abbott posted on X afterwards, said, looking forward to watching the circus and keeping the U.S. Senate seat red. Jasmine Crockett is about to learn the hard way that most Texans are very different from her district, her base, and her values. She'll be plummeted for her progressive socialist agenda and get crushed by the Republican nominee for Senate. The Texas political cemetery is filled with blowhards like her who have no idea what it's like to run statewide. On the bright side for her, maybe she'll get a job on The View. I like the comments from Governor Abbott. I mean, it seems like everything's more aggressive, even for Abbott. That seems more aggressive. The Republican Party also posted saying the low IQ Jasmine Crockett is officially running in Texas for U.S. Senate. This is really who the Democrats are clearing the field for. Hilarious. Another X account wrote, and the account name is just called End Wokeness. I can't stop laughing. This is Jasmine Crockett's campaign video launch. Reposting the 42-second ad, which features sound bites of Trump criticizing Crockett, and it does. She's against Trump, so she puts him on her ad. Matt Walsh, who we all know. I never thought I'd say this, but I agree with every word of this Jasmine Crockett ad. Which every word of the Jasmine Crockett ad pretty much is Trump criticizing Jasmine. Matt Whitlock, Jasmine Crockett's launch video would be clever if her voters were solely Gen Z TikTok users. Yeah, welcome to the big world. I have no idea. Political commentator David Freeman predicted that she's going to lose by 17 points, a landslide. Of course, Trump won Texas by 14 points. He's predicting she'll lose by 17, which would be a greater loss than Harris had in Texas. I don't know her popularity all over. I know her popularity amongst conservatives overall, not good. Don't think it was all negative, though. Yeah, Representative Ayanna Presley. My sister in service at Jasmine for U.S. is a relentless fighter, brilliant legal mind. She's exactly the kind of authentic, bold, effective leader this moment demands, the people deserve, and the Senate needs. Let's go. Texas Democratic Party Chairman Kendall Scudder. Republicans are shaking in their boots because they know their days are numbered in Texas. Competitive primaries are the sign of a healthy party. The Texas Democrat Party has contested primaries up and down the ballot with a record number of candidates to fight for working class people. It's a real embarrassment of riches compared to the Republican field. That's from the Democrat Party. Saying that they're going to take everything away from Texas. You know, they're going to win it all. I mean, I guess that's what you got to say if you're on the Democrat side, I guess. But she didn't even mention Trump in there. She just said that they're a candidate for working class people, which I would question whether they support working class people at all. In her announcement, Crockett expectedly bashed Donald Trump. Oh, and the incumbent, Senator John Cochran. She says, I'm done watching the American dream on life support while Trump tries to pull the plug. The gloves have been off, and now I'm jumping into the ring. Many people wonder why I jumped into this race so late. And I just want to be clear that this was never my intention. This was never about me. I never put myself into any of the polls. But the more I saw the polls results, I couldn't ignore the trends which were clear, both as it relates to the primary as well as the general election. I could have played it safe and continued serving in the United States House of Representatives for as long as my constituents would have me. But I don't choose to do that because Texas, this moment we're in now, is life or death. Many people ask, can I win this race in November? I am here to say, yes, we can. That's Crockett. She does currently serve in the House of Representatives, but that district is gone now. It's been remolded. It's no longer a majority minority. Don't know if she could win there. So she jumped right into Senate. She didn't mention that in her polls or her speeches. Anyway, I got to take a break. We'll be right back. AM 560.
Sunny skies today, 78 the high, 5 to 10 mile per hour winds out of the north. Low tonight, 52. For tomorrow, sunny and 79, 52 tomorrow night, 81 and sunny on Thursday.
At Exceptional Community Hospital, we are redefining what emergency care should feel like. Fast, personal, and compassionate. Our experienced ER physicians and staff are here 24/7 to care for your unexpected illness or injury. Don't wait for emergency care when you can be seen in minutes. With short wait times, you'll get the prompt attention you need because every minute matters. And if your recovery takes longer, we provide the inpatient care you deserve. Exceptional Community Hospital. Compassionate care. Exceptional service.
There's a man in D.C.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you. Phone lines are open, 928-344-5258. Family is suing Royal Caribbean. I don't know how many of you have ever been on a cruise ship. I've enjoyed them. I've never wanted to sue one, but let me take a phone call. You're on the air.
Good morning, Russ.
Well, good morning.
You enjoying this cool weather?
I really do like the change. I do.
Hey, did you ever find out from Mr. Sprague's about their food drive?
Remind me again, what food drive?
Sprague's Sports.
Oh, Sprague's. I did not find out. My apologies. I have not gotten a hold of Richard. In fact, let me text him now and find out on that. Gosh, my apologies. I did not get that.
Well, you got so many things on your plate, so it's hard to.
Yeah, but that's an easy one. I like easy.
You know what? I was just sitting here thinking, here's old Jasmine Crockett. She's drinking from the toilet bowl again, just like the rest of those Democrats.
Yes, she's
because they're all full of caca.
They're going all for the cheap thrills and the low balls. It's just embarrassing if that's what they got to put forward. And many people are saying that. They think, well, that's great. Put Crockett out there on the national ticket. Let her be the leader of the Democrat voice. Let her lead. She's now the leader of the Democrat Party, pretty much. I mean, who else you got? Chuck Schumer's been kind of quiet, although he's not at his prime, and Bernie Sanders. Even AOC's been small compared to Crockett lately. She's been really getting it out there with antics that are embarrassing to most of us.
Well, that they're doing a lot of an investigation of the Democrats and their origin of birth and stuff like that. And there's a lot of them going to be deported. And I think AOC's got something in her closet that she's not a United States citizen too.
Well, that's been a question a lot. Apparently, she married her brother for some reason. I thought that was to get him in, though. Maybe I don't know if that was to get her in or get him in. One way. Well,
that was Elon Omar that did that. It was AOC.
Oh, that's right. It was Omar. Oh, yeah, she was a bartender, right? Well, she doesn't have an immigration problem, does she?
I don't know. They're investigating her. I don't know how she got in here.
Well, I thought she was born in the United States, but I don't know.
Well, hopefully they'll get away that birthright citizenship crap and they'll kick their asses out of here.
Well, and that is actually seriously up for debate right now for the first time, really. There was the only time it's been up for debate was once before the Supreme Court in the late 1800s because of a Chinese man that was born in the United States and went back to China. And then when he came to visit, because he wasn't born there, he's born here, but he came back and went there to visit and came back. And he was in his 20s, so he'd lived in the country for 20-some years. And they said, you can't come back in, you're not a citizen. You're a citizen of China. Because your parents were from China, although they still lived in San Francisco. I mean, they never left. They stayed there. And the ruling was in favor of the man for the reason that they had settled, they'd lived here, and the government did have authority over him and his family because they'd been such long standing in the community or something.
Right.
That didn't apply to the birthright vacationers and stuff. And, it's been a whole cottage industry that people from China will pay these organizations to move to fly over here just before they give birth and stay at hotels, and they pay a lot to these companies that work out those details. And Chinese aren't the only one, but that's just one of the ones I remember. But many come over just for that reason. There's been Mexicans that have come over in the 9th month, 8th month, just to give birth, and say that my kid's now a citizen because I've been in the country for 2 hours, so I'm never leaving. I got to stay here and take care of a citizen.
Yeah, right.
Anchor
I get
babies,
that.
and I think it's
Yeah.
right to question that. It's right to ask that question, as much
Correct.
as some people. But if you're an ambassador to a country and you have a child in this country, they don't make that child a citizen. A lot of vacationers come over here that don't make it a citizen.
Right. Understood.
Yeah, but it does happen a lot,
Yeah.
and I think it's a good question. It's good to have that before the Supreme Court. We'll see where it goes, but man, it offends so many people, so much outrage. Like, how dare you? And you know how many countries in the world that do this other than us? That have none, zero, nobody. Only the United States, very unique about that. And many have said all along it's a misinterpretation of the 14th Amendment. It's not a correct interpretation.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, have you heard what some of the California citizens are doing now?
What?
They're turning in the illegals. They're telling them exactly where they are, exactly where they're living. And they're doing the same thing in Texas.
Wow. I mean, I guess that's not totally surprising. It's good to hear that there's some people that are helping out with that mission, because it's not going to be completed in 3 years. And I don't care how much they do. They're not going to get people out of the country that need to be, that are here illegally and doing ill will, collecting social benefits that they're not legally allowed to collect. You know that. You can't get SNAP benefits if you're an illegal alien. But
they're doing it.
The states are doing it every day. And those same states, and it's a federal program. It's not a state program. It's a federal program. But it is run by the states. So the states will give the money away and then apply for reimbursement. They just won't tell you who they gave the money to. Because now now they're asking, and the Trump administration has asked for the records of who you've doled out this money to, and then there's states like California refuse to give it to them. None of your business. It's just your money. We're not going to tell you how we spent it.
Right.
Take our word for it. And that's going to come. That's going to come to a push at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I understand that Minnesota, they can kiss their money goodbye because they're not going to get any more of their giveaway money.
Trump is angry.
Oh yeah, he is.
And Tim Walz has become a horrible idiot, and so's the mayor of Minneapolis, that are refusing any federal help of any kind, refusing any kind of federal cooperation when it comes to ICE or anything else. I mean, they just, they're like the new Confederacy, where we don't need the feds. Give us more money. Do you realize how much money pours into Minneapolis from the feds? Is huge.
Well, yeah. Alrighty, my friend. I'll let you go because I know you got a hard break coming up. So appreciate you answering my question.
Thanks for the call. Bye-bye. And that's right. I can't believe how fast the time goes. See, the longer I stay here, the longer I don't have to go to work. This is more fun. I'll start talking about this Royal Caribbean cruise, but I want some of your opinions about it. Basically, a 35-year-old man lost his life on the Royal Caribbean cruise. Now, I understand that's going to result in a lawsuit no matter what, I would imagine. I imagine as soon as that happens, and you're going to get a lot of lawyers offering to help you with that case. And it's a tragedy, and it's unfortunate. December 13, 2024, it's a 4-day cruise to Ensenada, Mexico. Sounds like a fun time. And they are. Cruise lines are fun. And him and his family were aboard the Royal Caribbean's Navigator, the seas of Los Angeles. So they left Los Angeles and Just went for a 4-day cruise to Ensenada. Doesn't matter where you go. The cruise ship itself is a lot of fun. So he took his longtime fiance and their young son who has autism. So small family of 3 going on the overseas. The problem started when the family was directed to a bar with live music because their cabin was not ready. I don't remember that happening, but I guess it could, like any hotel or something. Hey, your room's not ready. Why don't you wait here for a little bit and go enjoy a free soda? Well, he went to the bar with live music, and the 7-year-old son, I guess she's been a fiance for a long time. They have a 7-year-old son. Autism grew restless, and the mom took the son to go check on the room and left Virgil on his own. Now, Virgil's the 35-year-old man that ended up dying. And he decided I'll just wait here. I'm not going to go with the family. And I'll tell you how he died. After the top of the hour news, I'll be back. AM 560, KBLU.
There's a man in D.C. He stands 6'3". He's fighting for you. He's fighting for me. He'll drain that old swamp, just like he said. He'll make America great again.
This is News Talk 560 KBLU, Yuma.
The answer is still no. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. Ukraine's President Zelensky again says he cannot cede territory to Russia, and that's part of President Trump's peace plan. He says Zelensky's going to have to start making concessions. He's losing.
It would be nice if he would read it. You know, a lot of people are dying, so it would be really good if he'd read it. His people loved the proposal. They really liked it. His lieutenants, his top people, they liked it. But they said he hasn't read it yet.
The president, in an interview with Politico, he heads to Pennsylvania today for a speech about the economy and bringing down prices.
The president's kicking off what's expected to be the first of many public events highlighting how they're handling the U.S. economy. On Monday, the president announced that U.S. farmers are going to get a $12 billion package, essentially one-time checks to assist them during what's been a rough year. You remember China temporarily stopped buying U.S. soybeans. That created huge problems for many people in the heartland. But Democrats say it's all Trump's fault. Tonight, the president expected to focus more on where prices have stabilized or even dropped. The latest gas price data from AAA shows the current average nationally at $2.94 a gallon. 1 year ago, it was just above $3.01, but way down from where we were in the records back in 2022.
Fox's Mark Meredith at the White House. The Senate will be taking up a plan to extend Affordable Care Act subsidies expiring at the end of the month.
Senate Democrats want an automatic 3-year renewal of Obamacare credits. A test vote comes Thursday, but some conservatives oppose re-upping any of the aid. Republicans have decried the Democrats' plan as a messaging bill which will not pass. But Democrats say Republicans lack agreement on their own plan. Republicans are mulling a host of plans, but the GOP hints it might not even vote on a Republican option.
Fox's Chad Pergam at the Capitol. A federal judge tells the Justice Department it may release investigative materials from a sex trafficking case against convicted Jeffrey Epstein accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell. America's listening to Fox News.
You probably heard Relief Factor commercials where somebody says to his spouse regarding his pain, "You don't understand. It's gone." Well, Sharon told us that's exactly how she feels. She wrote to me and she said, "Glenn, Relief Factor has helped me so much. I plan on taking it for the rest of my life. I'm a walking testimonial." For me, it was more like Tanya twisting my arm to give Relief Factor a try. I heard about Relief Factor All Natural, created by doctors, blah, blah, blah. I really agreed to try it, not in thinking it would work. I just wanted to get her to stop telling me to do something and prove her wrong. Well, she was right, again, of course, and I got my life back. Not only did I not have to live in pain, I could thrive again. If pain has been holding you back, maybe it's time you found out why so many people, just like Sharon, just like me, make Relief Factor part of their daily routine. 2 out of 3 people who try it go on to order more month after month. I'm one of them. Try the 3-week quick start today. See how it works for you. Visit relieffactor.com, 800-4-RELIEF. That's 800-4-RELIEF. 800-4-RELIEF.
From the News 11's Information Desk, I'm Jaylene Aguilera. It's the final week for the Salvation Army Angel Tree Program. The Christmas Assistance Program helps over 300 Yuma County families and provides holiday food boxes and gifts to children up to 12 years old. Locals can find the Angel Tree tags at Walmart, Sam's Club, and several other local businesses around town. Each tag represents a specific child in Yuma that needs your help to make their Christmas dreams come true. The deadline to return the tags is this Friday, so you can bring them to the Salvation Army Red Bins or any fire station in Yuma County. Plus, the local organization collected hams to give to all local heroes in our area. The Hams are Heroes event drive encourage people to donate hams that will go to firefighters, police, and veterans. The event is being put on by the K9 Ops Foundation with all the donations going to these local heroes. The foundation passed their goal by collecting over 100 hams. Catch us on the TV side on News 11 every weekday at 5, 6, and 10 p.m. for your latest local news, weather, and sports.
There's a man in D.C. He stands 6'3". He's fighting for you.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you. It's 8:04. You're late for work, probably. I left the last hour talking about this 35-year-old man who died aboard the Royal Caribbean cruise. He was left at a bar on the cruise ship when they first got on there because the room wasn't ready, and his wife and 7-year-old son left to go find out about the room. Well, here's the lawsuit, and he died, by the way. Lawsuit claims that crew members of that ship negligently served him 33 alcoholic drinks. Which, I imagine they got a reason for saying 33. Maybe it's on tape. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know how they come up with 33, but I'm assuming it's true. It probably did. He probably got 33 drinks. And believe it or not, he became intoxicated and agitated. It sounds like he struck out from the bar and started looking for his cabin. He was agitated, wanted to find his cabin. I guess his wife and 7-year-old son had left. How long does it take to do 33 drinks? I mean, and they must have left him in that bar for quite some time, alone. Well, apparently the crew had to sedate him. They used 3 cans of pepper spray. That's a lot. I would imagine. I've never been pepper sprayed. I don't want to be. No, thank you. If you want to give me a shot and try that, I'm not going to do that. And I guess the pepper spray didn't sedate him, so they actually injected him with holoperidol. Holoperidol. I don't know what that is. Supposed to sedate him, and they injected it. I thought that's kind of strange. I wouldn't think security had injectionable drugs on them that they could give to people, but apparently they do. Apparently all that caused hypoxia, impaired ventilation, respiratory failure, cardiovascular instability, ultimately cardiopulmonary arrest. The medical examiner ruled the death a homicide. So, and the medical examiner wrote that the combined effects of mechanical asphyxia, obesity, cardiomegaly, ethanol intoxication, said the injury occurred from body compression during restraint by multiple ship personnel and ingestion of ethanol. His body remained refrigerated on board of the ship. I guess they stuck him in the fridge on December 16th or 13th. They arrived back at port on December 16th, and they unloaded him out of the fridge. I wonder if that's the same fridge they keep, the dinner in. Is that where they get dinner and they have this guy's body? Which maybe I don't know how they do that. Well, according to Kevin Haynes, Kevin Haynes is an attorney now, and that's handling it. The family suffered unimaginable heartache and torment caused by Royal Caribbean. Crew members, including security and medical personnel, are required to undergo rigorous competency training. It's very clear that Royal Caribbean is completely negligent in the hiring, training, and supervision of the vast fleet of maritime employees. What was supposed to be a beautiful family vacation comes to an ultimately tragic end due to the reprehensible way the situation that should have never occurred was handled. Now, see, this guy's 35. My daughter just turned 35 yesterday, so he's a young person. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Hey, Russ.
Good morning.
I just turned your show on just now because I listened to it yesterday. A lot of racism stuff you had on early in the program.
I remember. Okay, yeah, racist stuff. All right.
Yeah, a lot of racist stuff.
All right.
I was laughing my butt off and a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Racist was everywhere in America, in the music industry, movie industries. But what I found fascinating in the music industry, did you know how many pop stars were of Latino background, and we didn't even know it? They actually had to change their names a couple of times.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And I got a list, and I'm laughing about it because I didn't even think about it back there in the day. Remember Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs?
I don't.
Wooly Bully?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Well, did you know he was Mexican descent?
Nope.
But he had to play off a different race, because of he was in Texas.
Wow.
Yeah. That's why he was Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs, to make him look like he was what? Egyptian or whatever. Well, that's how he hit it.
A lot of racism back then. Sammy Davis Jr. couldn't go into some of the hotels and stuff that he played in with Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra had to stand up for him.
Well, he could go in the hotels, but he couldn't eat or sleep.
Yeah, I say he couldn't check in. He could just go in and entertain and walk out. Yeah.
Right. Same thing with Ray Charles and a lot of, and just like Charlie Pride. No one knew he was a black man for years when he sang.
Well, they didn't put his picture on the cover of the record.
Exactly. Another group of the hit song was "Land of a Thousand Dances."
I don't know that.
Yeah, well, of course, you're too young to know that. Na 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 na.
Oh, I know that. Yeah, I've heard that before.
Okay, well, the band was called Cannibal and the Headhunters. They were a Latin band, complete Latin band out of L.A. We didn't know that at the time. Of course, people now they did. Here's another one, Russ.
But that's back when racism wasn't a micro expression. I mean, it was just flat out.
Flat out, right? Like I said, I was laughing about it today. Question Mark and Mysterians. Remember them?
No.
Yeah, you do. 96 Tears.
Oh, I know that. I know the songs. I didn't know the names of the bands.
You're gonna laugh when I tell you where they were from. They were a Latino band.
I thought they were German or something. No.
made up of migrant farm workers that lived in Bay City, Michigan.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they had talent, man.
They had lots of talent. Yeah. How about, do you remember a young man named Ricardo Valenzuela?
That sounds familiar.
Well, he had to change his name because there was an Hispanic, or they didn't call it Hispanic. It was a Latin genre. Whatever.
Richie Valley?
Yeah, Richie Valens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is racism that the rock and roll people had to deal with. There's lots of them. And there's a young lady, I can't think of her. I was trying to remember her name as I was writing this down. She sang a really beautiful song. It's a #1 hit. She wrote it. But since she was Latina, her manager thought it would be better for not to put her name down as a writer of that song. Because she was Latin. She was laughing. So when they were talking, these people don't know what racism is today. They have no idea what the heck they're talking about. And this Crockett, she talks ghetto.
Oh man, she's embracing ghetto.
She is talking. If she thinks that's what my black brothers and sisters want, she is so out of tune.
Yeah.
We've become, we're educated now. At one time, you thought that, oh, this guy from the hood, I need to listen to him. And that's what helped a lot of them. It's the beginning, Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton never spoke ghetto.
No.
They spoke with intelligence.
Yes.
Intellectual. Their vocabulary.
It's a different time, man. Her ghetto talk is getting her money.
Yes. Well, that's again, look at all your rap music, all the ghetto music. What do they speak on? They speak on what? Racial divide. They speak on killing the white man. They speak on killing police.
Killing police,
all ghetto. And a lot of it comes from the movies and the media. You look at the movies during the 70s. How many ghetto movies, whether it's Superfly and all of them, and how they pushed drugs. How you can become rich by selling cocaine and marijuana and heroin.
Yeah, but they didn't usually end up well. I mean, Dirty Harry usually won.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is they show these people they can make money.
Yeah.
They show these young people, hey, you can sell drugs and make lots of money. Even today, in some of your detective movies, the young men are being recruited to sell drugs to become rich. I mean, the outcome's the same thing, Russ.
Wow.
They die.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're telling us, hey, you can make money by doing this.
Yeah.
That's what. Now that's racism. But what they're talking about racism today is crazy. And AOC, she had a speech out of New York. This is what we are. We're this way. This is the way we are. This is the way we live. This is how we're gonna.
That's not how she grew up, man.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
How many of them grew up with a silver spoon?
She did. AOC was, private schools and stuff.
Right, and because of her her dad and mom were both professors. Is that the one that was both professors?
I'm not sure, but that sounds right. But she picked up the street talk, I guess, to get credibility.
Right, exactly. You call it street talk, I call it ghetto talk.
Yeah, same thing.
same damn thing. Ghetto sounds more profound.
Yeah.
But this is what we had to deal with. As a kid, I was always called a Mexican because of my skin. So in my 7th grade class, Mrs. Schoolcraft, I loved her. She taught me a lot. I asked her, I was born in America. So my friend Stafford is an American. He's white. I'm brown and I'm Mexican. Why am I Mexican and he's American? She didn't know how to answer that question. And she looked at me and I'm pretty sure they had a conversation in the teacher's lounge because here's a young man asking, why is he called considered a Mexican when he was born in America?
Right. No good answer came from it though, huh?
No. But that's the type of crap that we had to deal with. And there wasn't that much racism in Yuma. I don't remember seeing much. Of course, there was some. And growing up, while we grew up, we were all hanging out together. I knew about racism when I started hearing about all the protesting across America. Of course, and it was in the news media and all that. But yeah, if they want to talk about racism, let's talk about true racism. None of this patty cake BS.
Well, how are they going to be victims if you can't claim racism? They've got to manufacture it, buddy. Like that's Oprah Winfrey and Michelle Obama sitting down together and talking about how scary it is to go in a Target because they're black. It was just laughable.
Right. Well, like I read an article. Started to read an article. It was a little too late for me last night. About how many Muslims were bringing Africans across the world as slaves.
Oh, really?
They're selling them as slaves. Yeah.
In today's environment today?
No. Back
then.
The
Okay. Well, I'm sure they were involved. The whole world was involved in slavery at one time.
Right. Well, what I'm getting at, but what color skin was selling the black man? The black man.
Well, the slave traders didn't leave the ships and run into the center of Africa looking for slaves.
They did in the beginning.
At the very beginning, they had some, but they ended up going into the docks, and tribes brought slaves to them and sold them.
They sold them. They owned slaves. Yeah. That's it. And like I always make the comment, back in the day, they used to go out inside the jungles. And finally, one chief said, "You know what? Tell you what, you leave my people alone, I'll bring you slaves to the shoreline."
Yep.
We're going to trade. And who was the first slave owner in America? Russ?
I forget, but I know it's a black man, but I don't remember the name.
Anthony Johnson.
Anthony Johnson. Okay.
Yep. And there was 100 black slave owners in America, and I read that in the book too.
Yeah. Well, as long as you didn't get it on the internet, it's okay.
But like I was saying, I was laughing at you, laughing at the show, and there all this racism crap. This I call it patty cake racism compared to the '60s, the '50s, and the '40s.
But that's how Joy Reid and others make their money. They have to be a victim, and they're going to manufacture, some kind of micro expression or something, or equity because the white guy makes more. But I tell you what, Joy Reid makes more than I do. I should claim racism.
Oh, you should, and you do stuff like that. Yeah,
I want my equity,
like
Joy. Send me some equity.
Well, look at all the Democratic officials back in the 50s and 60s and 70s who were all too rich. Well, it's everywhere.
And we still have that. Look at, Black Lives Matter took in tons of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And try to name a program that they invested in any community. They just invested in themselves and houses and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, would you consider Somalians Africans? They're from that region, right?
Sure. What
color skin are they?
Oh, they're very dark. Yeah.
Yeah. You can say black. It's okay. You're not racist. But look, how many billions of dollars? $20 billion?
Is it up to 20? I've not heard that estimate.
You're right.
It started off with 1 billion, then they were saying it's possibly 8. I don't know.
Right. And we're talking skin color. We want to be racist. They're black. They're dark skinned.
Yeah.
And who benefited?
I mean, that's an unimaginable amount of money. How does that even happen? Where is the money? Where did it go?
NGOs, not GTOs, but NGOs.
NGOs, yeah. I don't.
Yeah, you don't think that's who got the money? People that from that area. Oh, we're going to help you. We have a whole bunch of NGOs to help you out.
Well,
those people that are NGOs who got the billions of dollars.
Well, and Tim Walz came out and defended him and said, "No, look, we got a lot of criminals that aren't black. We got a lot of them,
Of course. Well, look what he's up to his yin yang in this corruption.
Tim Walz is a joke. It's funny.
Oh man. Yeah. Anyway, like I said, I didn't have time to call yesterday, but I decided to give you a call this morning because I was laughing my butt off. If you knew how much racism was in our rock and roll and music, Chuck Berry was another one. They didn't know he was black. When he first came in, I saw a documentary. He came in to play, and they were looking for 5 white guys in the band.
Yeah, they were disappointed because he's not white. Excellent artist, though. I really love Chuck Berry.
Yeah. He did some dumb things, but then again, music, alcohol, and drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but then again, look at Jerry Lee Lewis. Look what he did.
Yeah, that's family affair there. Thanks.
Now, hers funny on music. Remember the song Tutti Frutti?
Yeah.
Rudy, Rudy, Bob, Lou Bob, right? You know that song, right?
Yeah.
You know, he wrote it and recorded it, but they wouldn't let it. They didn't send it out. But you know who they gave that to record and produce?
Mm-mm.
I know you didn't know that.
No.
Pat Boone.
What?
Pat Boone.
He sang that song?
Yes, he did. He said, "Do Rudy, Rudy, Bob, Lou Bob. She's my gal."
Yeah.
Look it up, Russ. Look it up.
All right,
If
buddy.
you don't believe me, look it up. But anyway, that's why I thought I'd give you a call and give you something else to talk about. It's refreshing, funny at the same time.
Appreciate it, man. Take care, buddy. Bye.
Bye.
Of course, that was Mr. Gilbert. A couple things my fact checker sent me, which is very appreciated. And one that we just talked about, he said, federal, this is Edward, federal agents are stating that the fraud in Minnesota's Somali community has been estimated at $1.5 billion. And I guess I heard the 1 billion, and then there's been this wild estimates of 8. Now, first I heard 20, but 1.5 is strong enough, and who knows if that's just the tip of the iceberg or if that's, I don't know. Don't know. We'll find out. He also tells us that the Ocasio-Cortez's father, Sergio Ocasio-Roman, was an architect and small business owner. The mother, Blanca Ocasio-Cortez, worked as a domestic worker and school bus driver. Now, AOC went to some private schools, from what I understand. And I'll have to double check that, but he sent me a note about Judge Unseal's Ghislaine Maxwell's grand jury materials. That just doesn't seem right to me. Grand juries are supposed to be sealed and private, and what's said in grand jury stays in grand jury and all that. But they're letting it out. I mean, I don't mind looking at it, but that's kind of unusual to let that out. We'll see what it all is. He said everyone's on edge. Yeah, people testify grand jury thinking that it's secret. I've got to take a break, and we'll be right back. AM 560.
Sunny skies today, 78 the high, 5 to 10 mile per hour winds out of the north. Low tonight, 52. For tomorrow, sunny and 79, 52 tomorrow night, 81 and sunny on Thursday.
So Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $29.95 a month for life. Not your phone's life, your life. This top-tier plan is normally $65 a month, but if you switch today, you'll save over 50% every month for the rest of your life. You might say it's the deal of your lifetime. Dial pound 250, say micro, offer ends 12/14. Some restrictions apply. Details at puretalk.com.
Yuma, the Great American RV Roadshow Super Sale was set to end, but holiday shoppers packed the Yuma Fairgrounds, so we're sticking around one more week.
Best of end-of-season clearance prices are still rolling on new and used RVs, including our very best deals on repos and trades.
This is one of the world's largest traveling RV sales, but when it's gone, it's gone.
RVs cost less at the Great American RV Roadshow.
Extended through Sunday at the Yuma Fairgrounds. Parking and admission are free. Presented by RV Country.
There's a man in D.C. He stands 6'3". He's fighting for you. He's fighting for me. He'll drain that.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark with you. It's Tuesday morning, 8:27. Edward says that the high school that AOC went to was a public school, but it was ranked one of the top 1%. And it was in a wealthy area known as the 90120 School of New York State. I guess that's a zip code in California. I said it wrong. It's supposed to be 90120. But let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Hi, Russ. Good morning.
Well, good morning.
Yeah, I just was going to comment on last week. We were talking about the new ID card, the DMV ID card.
Oh, the real ID card that you get with your driver's license?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, I saw how it first came out. It was first coming out like 25 years ago. It was labeled as, it may be still labeled as the same. It's RFID, and the reason it's RFID, it's a radio frequency ID, meaning that it has a microchip inside the ID.
Oh, I would imagine it really does, but it's also, it requires additional information, like you have to have a birth certificate or something, or a passport in order to get it. And it'll get you on an airplane now because it's got more verification than just saying I live under a bridge in Yuma.
Right. But see, the problem with that is that anytime there's a microchip inside, incidentally, the passports also have that microchip inside that
correct
passport. So the problem with that is that anytime you have a microchip inside, let's say the RFID, the real ID, is that that information, it goes into a database.
Right.
And so that's the problem with that. And it's not only our country that's pushing for this type of an ID. It's basically a global procedure that the UN wants all countries to have that type of ID. And basically, what it boils down to is that, like I said, your information is going to go to database. Eventually, it goes to the database, and obviously, it's for tracking purposes and like you said, identifying people. So, but that could be a bad thing and a good thing.
Well,
because
so you don't think it's a good thing to have one then?
Well, but the thing is, when you centralize and that type of information, and it falls under, like, for instance, let's say by 2030 is the UN wants everybody to have that type of an ID, but the problem is it falls under their global agenda of a world government by 2030. So, I mean, if you have an ID, if everybody has an ID and it's all basically centralized, then I mean, if that type of information falls under the wrong hands, then that's where the problem is.
Yeah, I understand the whole proliferation of information and no hiding. Man, they're gonna, aliases aren't gonna help you and all that kind of stuff. And it is digital. I mean, I know my passport is, and I have a little passport card, the card, so I can just run to Mexico real quick. But I keep it in a protective thing so it can't be electronically picked up without it coming out of the sleeve and all that. But this information's getting out there quickly. I don't think there's too much hiding from it anymore. I don't think we have to wait for 2030.
Well, another problem is that if your ID or your passport if you lose it, then who's to say that somebody else might not pick it up or whatever? So then I guess you could say, well, the next step, the next safe thing to do is to implant a digital microchip or whatever on your body. Some people have done that. There's some countries that have already done that. Yeah,
I'm not doing it. And my fact checker points out that the basic information was already in the license, but it was on it was on a barcode instead of digitally, on a chip.
Yeah.
So, but the information is becoming more prolific now. Of course, when they do it on a chip, you're going to put a lot more information in there. No, you can't. I imagine the barcode could open up a file for infinite messages, I guess. But
well, last week I went and got renewed my driver's license, and you still have an option now to go with the new RFID
right
deal. Yeah, so but then I saw a sign on there at the DMV that I believe it said October 2030. This type of ID is going to be required by everyone,
including.
So I got another 5 years, but I didn't want to go with the new.
So I take it you don't get on an airplane much.
No, and I don't go to Mexico or travel much. I used to, but not anymore but I just don't like the idea the idea that I mean, it's in my Visa card also has a microchip in.
Sure.
And with that, they track all my financial transactions that way. But
I think you should put one in your arm.
Oh no, or on your forehead.
I'm going to try not to, man. We're going to try not to.
All right, Russ. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye. Yeah, that information is getting more and more prolific. I guess I've given into it. It'd be hard to be the Unabomber now. Live off the grid. It's going to get harder and harder. I need to finish up with this Royal Caribbean death. This 35-year-old man, 33 drinks. Looks like security had to. But look, for security to restrain you, when they have to call in 3 security, empty 3 bottles of pepper spray, and then also inject you with some kind of calming agent. Something's going on versus, it's more than just a verbal argument. I didn't see any video on this guy that died, Virgil, which is still a tragedy. But it sounds like he was engaged in activities that would be less than desirable. Virgil purchased a deluxe beverage package. When you go on a cruise ship, they have bars available. Or you can have the deluxe beverage package, which gives you access to any drink at any time. And if you're like Virgil in like a 33 drink nightcap before you go to bed, then that would be for you. According to the lawyer, though, Haynes, he says, we're seeing an incredibly alarming number of serious injuries and fatalities on cruise ships of late. Our goal is to force systemic change in the way this industry operates, ensure no person or family experience tragedies as a tragedy like this again. Of course, we're facing a lawsuit right now. I don't know how you get 33 drinks in you anyway. What time frame? I mean, I don't think his fiance and child was gone that long, was it? I don't know. If you down 33 drinks in a short amount of time, you're looking for alcohol poisoning or something. He just got on the ship. Of course, the Royal Caribbean's not talking about it because there's a lawsuit. They can't talk about it. And they're seeking a bunch of money for all kinds of stuff for that. And everybody that owns a bar knows that if you see somebody that's had too much, you cut them off, as hard as that is. Nobody cut this guy off, but if I remember right, those drinks are pretty watered down. I don't think it's a normal, unless it was beers. And if he did 33 beers in an hour or so, God bless him. I don't know how you do that, but most of those drinks are watered down. I don't know. Who knows how much alcohol? They didn't say. You would think they would have that, a blood draw on that person and find out what was in his system, but they're not telling us. But 33 in alcoholic drinks in just a couple hours would kill most people. So I don't know what else going on here except the man died. It took a lot of security to calm him down, and he died in that process with pepper spray and injectables, which seems like crazy, but I wasn't there. I'd like to go on another cruise ship, and I probably won't get the deluxe drinking package. Not going to do that. But what a shame that cruise ships are usually more fun than that. And I look at that like he's a child. Because my daughter just turned 35 yesterday. My baby girl turned 35 yesterday. Article here that the Supreme Court is going to give President Trump a major opening on immigration. Now, when the headline says is going to, that means it's not done. That's a prediction. And that's the executive order ending birthright citizenship, which I want to talk about after the phone call. You're on the air.
Hello, Russ. This is Fernando.
Good morning, Fernando.
About these narcos that got killed there in the boat.
Yeah.
And second shot, like Clark Gable used to say, Frankie, I don't give a damn about this narcos. Because I lost two brothers.
Yeah.
The drug.
Oh,
They had
really?
home delivery. My brothers would call and they would bring the drug to their house.
Wow.
So I ain't gonna share no tears with none of them. I don't give a damn.
Yeah, you know, I care about the industry. I care about humanity. I care about all that stuff. But I don't know how somebody gets 33 drinks. I mean, and his fiance, maybe she shouldn't have left him alone. Maybe that guy needed supervision. I don't know. There's so much I don't know about. You know, we know very little from this article. But man, it sounds like something heavy going down if it takes 3 security guards to subdue you.
Well, that guy was kind of heavy on the sides, man.
Yeah, he was. He was obese. Yeah, he was a big boy.
Well, you have a guy like that on beer or drugs, you can't stop him.
I think you're right. Just talking from some of the police officers and stuff.
I think he had something drugs on him.
Yeah. Yeah, just like a George Floyd thing. You know, George Floyd was all on drugs and they couldn't stop him.
They can't stop him.
Yeah,
The energy go all the way to the roof, man.
Right. And he ended up
I
dying.
know
I think he died of an overdose.
I used to rumble in Mexico with these guys, and I was a good fighter. I didn't take no licking from those guys, man.
Well, usually people leave you alone once you get that reputation. They don't mess with you as much.
The only guys that they mess with are the ones that are just fussing around with them. But if you don't just leave them alone and do their job selling drugs.
Wow. That's a sad industry because people do die.
They do.
Yeah.
I grew up was in the bad neighborhood, and I had about 12 friends, and they all died. I'm the only one survived.
Wow.
Because I moved from that barrio down there.
Yeah.
So
that's good. Get away from it.
Yeah, that's the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Move. Now they're all moving to Phoenix.
What? You're going right back into problems, my friend.
Yeah, they're moving back to Phoenix. All the good guys.
Uh-oh.
All the bros and all the.
Well, stay with the right neighborhoods, man.
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
Okay.
Okay. Have a nice day.
Take care, buddy. Bye-bye. Man, that means I'm going to lose Fernando. Supreme Court is looking at the executive order that ended birthright citizenship. And I don't know if you know that, but Trump put out a executive order that ends birthright citizenship. Now, that was not an automatic. Obviously, that's going to the Supreme Court to discuss it, which I think is an important discussion. And in this article, it says, win or lose, the White House can use the court's decision to reignite the debate over immigration and propose common sense improvements to our country's broken system. I don't know what the win or lose means. I mean, I think Trump thinks he can win this. Many scholars have said his chances are slim, but they leave the door to interpretation open. Changes that should no longer continue undocumented people in the census. That's one of them. And that's been talked about a lot lately, particularly since the redistricting on some of the games that the Democrats have played in order to give themselves an edge in representation. And that is to count all illegals. And then when they come to how many House of Representatives each state gets, they take total population. And if you count illegals, that total population includes the people that shouldn't be there. And the case being made that we should only count citizens, not tourists, guests, or people in the country illegally. Ending the diversity lottery, which is kind of silly anyway. Like, we just put your name in a hat to decide who gets to come into the country. That way we can't use prejudice, racism, or, somebody that would want to get in or something like that, something crazy. And initiating a merit-based admissions program, which Trump is all for. Merit-based, meaning what will you bring to the country? How much positiveness will you bring to our country? Work, skills, talent, money, ability, businesses, whatever. Merit-based, which would be great. President Trump's elected, I guess part of the immigration was a big deal. And this article points out that the horrors of Biden's immigration policies helped Trump a lot, get him in there. This also mentions that in December of 23, in 1 month, in December 23, 300,000 people crossed into the United States illegally, largely unvetted. Now, they kept saying they were vetted, which I don't know what their interpretation of vetted means, but it doesn't meet the interpretation, I think, that the U.S. government has as a whole. They were unvetted for criminal histories and health issues. Is a national disgrace, according to this article. Of course, that created the Venezuela problem, the gangs and the communities that hijacked a hotel. I still don't know how they got away with that, hijacking a hotel in Colorado, but they took it over. You would think they'd be easy to find because they're in a stationary place. You don't move a hotel. It's just there. But I guess that's all been taken care of. Said people are upset with the hospitals and schools being overrun by undocumented workers. And we got that in Yuma a lot. I know people had to go to Phoenix to get procedures done, medical procedures done, because the hospital canceled them, didn't have the opportunities available, including the rooms or physicians. People also didn't like seeing their long-standing neighborhoods picked up by ICE officers, and that's a negative. They're saying that the Hispanic community wants legal immigration. The Hispanic community doesn't want illegal gangs. The Hispanic community wants hospitals and schools available, not overrun. But they don't like seeing their neighbors, long-standing neighbors, all of a sudden get picked up at ICE and realize they've been in the country illegally, but they were one of the so-called good ones. In other words, had a job and paying the bills. And this way this article puts it, it says neighbors, they were picked up by officers just because they were in the country illegally. Why do they put the just because? Just because. They were picked up because they were illegal. Just because. Well, they put the just because in there because they don't think, well, he's one we should have left alone, is what they're thinking. The nice neighbor. The one that pays the bills and goes to church and gives to charity, we should leave him alone. And who's the arbitrator of that? And that just gets complicated. I understand it. It was a selective prosecution. But you got to clean up if you're in the country illegally. You just got to clean it up. Birthright citizenship is a good reminder on how messed up our immigration rules are, and I think it is. Birthrights, and we're the only ones that do it. The rule is opposed by those who consider it an enticement to illegal immigration, which it is, an enticement. I mean, how many pregnant mothers have walked across the border to have a baby because of our policy? You get the hospital bill paid for. Your child becomes a citizen. You become an anchor to that baby. You get to stay in the country. So it spawns birthright tourism, and that's a real thing. From all over the world, it's a real thing where people travel here for the sole purpose that they hire, travel agents to book me into the United States so I can have a baby. And that's been done. Let me see. 1868, the 14th Amendment stipulates all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. Pretty simple. And that's where they go on and say, well, anybody born here. The part that's a question is, and subject to jurisdiction thereof, subject to jurisdiction. Now, somebody that just came across the border an hour ago, but subject to jurisdiction, well, certainly they're subject to the rules. They're subject to the laws. What is the interpretation of the subject to the jurisdiction thereof? And it was interpreted, I guess, I can't remember what year. I'm seeing if it's on here, but There was one challenge to the birthright citizenship. It was in the late 1800s, if I remember right, for the Chinese guy. And the reason they let him stay, he was in his 20s when he was born in the United States, when it was in his 20s when he went to visit China and then came back and said, you can't come in the country, you're not a citizen. And so it went to court. It went to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court decided that he was under the jurisdiction of the United States. And because of that, he was under the jurisdiction. The jurisdiction because he grew up here. He lived here with his parents. His parents still reside in San Francisco at the time and part of the community and all that. So he was subject to the jurisdiction. Now, where is that line? Is that line 1 hour in the country or 20 years? I guess that's something to go before the legal community. That's probably what this is going to be. It's going to be on what is subject to the jurisdiction thereof. So, and that's being challenged. And the 14th Amendment came after the Supreme Court Dred Scott decision of 1857. And that decision barred Black Americans from becoming citizens. If you were Black, you couldn't become. It seems so surreal that happened in our country. It did. And they also said that undocumented people living in the shadows are not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. Well, Democrats universally support birthright citizenships. We know that. And the reason for that is got to confound some people. They're going to say, well, why do they want that? Well, many people think, and I'm sure it's different for every Democrat. You can talk to Democrats and ask them, but a Gallup poll showed recently last year, 55% of Americans thought immigration should be reduced. Nearly half of the country supported deporting all immigrants who are living in the United States illegally. Democrats and their media allies have worked overtime demonizing ICE that are rounding up sex traffickers, murderers, and illegal people all at the same time. The feeling is, though, that the Democrats are supporting it because they want more Democrats to remain in power. And that people that are in the country illegally are going to appreciate the fact that we opened up the checkbook. We pay them SNAP. We pay them for hotels. We pay them and give them money. And we overlook the fact that they're breaking laws and that they're going to become good Democrats. That's the feeling out there. Democrats oppose common sense immigration reforms. They are confident that a large majority of those who enter the country illegally will ultimately be able to vote and back their party. I think that's true. I think that's about power. So illegal immigration is a boon to Democrats, even in California, not because it's cheap. They don't mind opening up the pocketbook because they're just taxing everybody. They don't mind the reckless spending and all that, and driving some residents out to move to Florida and Texas. They don't mind. The feeling is that the Electoral College is more important. Yeah, they get more illegals in, they get more Electoral College votes. They get to decide who's president. They get more people in, they get more representatives in the House to do the House. Not the Senate, you're still going to get 2. That's it. And if we do that, and then the Democrats pay zero penalty for poor policies. Because like New York City's headed down a road of financial disaster if they have to pay the penalty for them. Now, see, if you have a Democrat president, they'll find a way to bail you out. They'll find a way to send you more federal money. We can't let the big city fail. It's too big to fail. I think they probably depend on that. But it's kind of hard to depend on that when Trump's in office. They're thinking that Trump is not going to be in power, that they're going to be able to overwhelm him at the midterm, take away the House and some of his power because he won't have a cooperating legislature. Our immigration system, according to this article, says that it does not put America first. President Trump has a chance to fix it. He's right on birthright citizenship, as an executive order states. The 14th Amendment has never been interpreted to extend citizenship universally to everyone born within the United States. That is true. The children of foreign diplomats are not citizens, even if they're born on U.S. soil. So there's a lot to work out. The Supreme Court has, I'm going to wish him the best and tell him to have fun with that. We'll be right back. AM 560.
When your home fills up with family, Allo Fiber makes sure that space is a happy place for everyone. Allo Fiber experts install it all, and full service means step-by-step support, guiding you through everything so you can stay connected to what matters, and the family can always feel at home. Put the game on, and don't worry about your Wi-Fi calling a timeout. Better TV and internet service is one connection away. Call Allo at 866-481-2556 or visit allofiber.com.
Hey, Yuma, it's DJs for PJs time. That's right. We're on a mission to collect new, warm pajamas for families in need. Swing by our radio station or Avenir Financial at 1780 South 1st Avenue and on North Frontage Road in the foothills, or any local Little Caesars Pizza, and drop them off before December 14th. Every pajama helps bring a little comfort this winter. Let's come together and make sure everyone in Yuma has something cozy to snuggle up in.
Listen to KBLU from 8 to 9 every Monday morning to Life, Death, and the Law. Sean Garner and Adam Hansen discuss estate planning options. Learn how you can plan your estate using a will or trust to protect your family and secure your legacy. That's Life, Death, and the Law every Monday, 8 to 9 a.m. on 560 KBLU.
There's a man.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark with you. Phone lines are open. I only got about 5 minutes left. 928-344-5258. Let's take a call. You're on the air.
Morning, Russ.
Good morning, sir.
So, what's this about our fair lady Grijalva claiming to have been shot at?
Well, pepper sprayed.
No. Oh, well, I'll send you the recording I heard. But she claimed that they went there, she identified herself, and they were pushed away and shot at.
Wow. I didn't realize that. Daniel Gutierrez was there at that scene, and he put some stuff out there that went viral. I don't know if he put it on X or what, but he said there was no way she was harassed or anything. Of course, even in her comments, she says, if that happened to me, imagine what happens to normal people. You know? Yeah. She put herself on a high pedestal pretty quickly.
Well, that's straight out of the communist handbook. Lie, lie, lie.
Yeah.
When you get called on it, lie some more, because the ones that are going to believe are going to believe anyways. The ones that know the truth, what are they going to do? You know?
Yeah.
It got her some political points, and she...
You really think she did all that just for political points?
Well, she did it for attention for one reason or another.
Yeah. She's hunting Jasmine Crockett, man. She wants that Jasmine Crockett type profile of attention. Yeah.
Sure. And then she will also, like Jasmine Crockett, eventually run for Senate. Why? Because of the millions of dollars. Crockett ain't going to become a senator in Texas. No way.
No.
But she's going to get millions of dollars. She's going to get book deals, with $1 million advances or 6 or 7 figure advances.
Yeah.
And she's going to get to say that she was former Senate candidate.
Well, you and I could do that. We could run for Senate and say we're a former Senate candidate.
Yeah, you might get away with that, buddy, but Mad Mikey ain't gonna get too many votes. I piss off too many people regularly.
I don't think I could get millions of dollars, but I'd get noticed anyway. Like what the hell's he doing here?
Something like that. I bet there'd be people that donate to you, though.
Maybe. Yeah.
I'd give you my $5-10, whatever the maximum.
There
is.
we go. I got that going for me.
All right. Well, you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, sir. Take care. That was Mad Mike. Offered me $5-10 if I run for Senate for my political race. I won't forget that, Mike. I'll be counting on it. Senate Republicans are launching an investigation into Biden immigration programs, which, I guess they should. The legislature is supposed to be a check and balance of investigative purposes. They don't prosecute with the exception of impeachments or something. But for a guest of investigative, they do that for, helping launch bills and things to fix the country. And they have legislation. I mean, they have investigative privileges to do. To know how the country's working, how things are working out and stuff like that, just so they can make good decisions. John Cochran and Josh Haley, they're going to lead a hearing to look into the Biden administration's parole policies. After this month, the announcement of the hearing slated for December 16th, so it's coming right up. And that's on the heels of 2 National Guard members being shot. U.S. Air Force Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf, 24, who is in serious condition still in the hospital, and U.S. Army Specialist Sarah Beckstrom, 20, who, as we know, was killed by the Afghan man. And there's been a lot of problems with illegal aliens in the news and responsible for murders or problems. And of course, he came in under Operation Allies Welcome in 2021. Well, news is now U.S. officials, President during the evacuation of Afghanistan, said he was ordered by Biden to fill the planes even without vetting. That's who they want to sit down and talk to. People like that. Fill the planes even without vetting. They were looking for numbers. It didn't matter. Well, I'm out of time. I'll be back tomorrow. Have a great Tuesday. AM 560 KBLU.